Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Football is back, and no matter where game day takes you, Caesars Sportsbook keeps you in the action. Bet from the tailgate.
Can I get a hot dog?
Bet from your couch.
That's my lucky spot.
Bet from the stadium.
Let's go!
Plus, you can flex your parlay, so your bet stays alive even if a leg misses. Caesars is your anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Download the app today and start betting. Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig broadcasting live for the 97.3 ESPN studios, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. As always, we are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. First of all, I gotta say, I made the biggest mistake in my life leaving my house when I did. I thought, you know what, 90 minutes, 100 minutes would be good enough. So anyone who's out on the road right now, for the sake of anything holy and sacred, take your time. The idiots are in full bore around South Jersey. It is absolutely ridiculous. So if you got to be somewhere anytime soon, don't. That's literally what I'm going to say with that. That's off the top. Right off the top rope, we're going with that. We got a lot of Eagles and Phillies conversation to get into on the show here on 97.3 ESPN. But before we get to anything else, I do want to introduce, so if you're watching on YouTube and X, you will see a new face joining the show, and she needs to pull that microphone a little closer to her over there. So Hailey Laskowski, she is joining us. She's going to be a part of the show for the fall season. She'll be popping in and out, and she drove down to the studio today. So you'll be hearing and seeing more from her throughout the year. Hailey, this is your maiden voyage with me here on 97.3 ESPN, even though we know each other for a few years. But how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Bring the mic a little closer to you, okay?
You
want to like eat the microphone.
Okay. Am I good?
Now
this
people
thing
can hear
on?
you.
Perfect.
There you go. So now what's funny is that we did not plan this. The picture I have on the cover photo for the YouTube stream and the X platform is the same Eagles jersey you're wearing. So we did not plan that, but still, it's glad to have you on board the show today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So tell folks for just a hot minute, just a little bit about yourself so people kind of get to know you before we dive into the Eagles and Philly stuff.
Perfect. So, hi guys. My name's Hailey, like the comment. I obviously am an Eagles fan, Phillies fan. I am a brand ambassador for work. I'm also a hairstylist. And with being a brand ambassador, it's literally the best thing in the world because I'm always at like sporting events and Eagles games and Phillies games, Sixers. Like it's absolutely the coolest thing. Like I get to meet a ton of the players and stuff like that, which is just like, it's just unreal.
Yeah, I saw you with Banana Ball last week. You were hanging out with Shane Victorino. Look at you.
Yes, he's so cool. I love that. The flying Hawaiian.
Speaking of the Phillies, we got to touch on the Phillies last night because, and I'm not going to blame the Phillies for why I got home late last night, but they didn't help because, when the Phillies are still playing and the game is getting a little late, I stay in the studio, because I want to leave in the middle of the game. And then the game goes to extra innings last night. And I think we got to give credit to what they were saying in the locker room before us here on 97.3 ESPN because it was so encouraging to see the Phillies finding ways to win games, right? It's the idea that you have a team that's finding ways to win games in unorthodox ways. And I think that so many times in sports, we get hung up on, and we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of the feeling that we want our team to be more and do more and be more, online and more kosher. But sometimes all that matters is just win, right? And you get a game like last night where Schwarber, Turner, they don't have great nights at the office. Harper, he gets on base, but doesn't really do much else. And early in the game, to me, it was like a redemption arc, because early in the game, Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm had a horrible play early in the game that should have been out of first base, completely botched by both of them. Stott didn't set his feet on the throw. Boehm misjudged the throw, went right past him at first base. And you're thinking at the beginning of the game, you're like, here we go again. Here we go with this stuff again, right? But then it's Stott and Boehm later in the game that help save the day. And I think that there obviously is something to be said for the fact that this team is so much deeper now. They're so much structured. And I got to say, what Alec Boehm said after the game, for those who didn't see the post game, he told Tom McCarthy and John Kruk last night how much Luis Arias being on the team has, I don't want to embellish it, but he made it like it was like a life-changing event for him, that acquiring one player. And it just goes to show you how if you acquire the right person for a team versus the wrong person for a team, how you're in such a predicament. And Boehm is saying how he watches Luis Arias as a best, how he talks to him, how he's learned so much from him in like 2-3 weeks, and how like it's changed his entire approach at the plate. And all I kept thinking is this young man, who's now, he's 30 years old now, but still, he was the 3rd overall pick in the MLB draft. He obviously has not lived up to expectations consistently for this team. But yet, for whatever reason, it took Luis Arias coming to the team to change things for him. And it just makes you wonder, Dave Dombrowski made a comment earlier this year about how I was surprised how slowly we started the year. I'm surprised when the offense goes in slumps. But now all of a sudden, since the Phillies acquired Luis Arias, Alec Boehm is hitting 360 this month. And it just goes to show you that the Phillies front office, Dave Dombrowski may be going to the Hall of Fame, but he's not as smart as he think he is. Because it's amazing how acquiring one guy in Luis Arias has changed Alec Boehm. It has helped Bryson Stott. It has improved the entire lineup. And Hailey, I don't think you got to be an expert to understand that when you add a quality person and player and guys are responding the way the Phillies are, like this is all green flags across the board here.
Right. It's just completely changing the energy.
For you, when you watch the Phillies, throughout the year, like, are you one of those people who gets easily frustrated with them? Or are you like a more patient person? Because I easily get frustrated.
I think every single Philly sports fan is never patient. We are all freaking out. We're screaming. We get angry. Like I don't know about you, but I start screaming at the TV and I start pacing. And I'm like, I'm like grabbing my hair. I'm like freaking out.
So are you a Boehm person or are you not a Boehm person? What is your position?
I like Boehm. I've always liked him. Yeah.
Why is that?
I just think he's a great addition to Philadelphia. And even though he hasn't had the greatest year, he's stepping back up. So I respect it.
See, for me, Boehm drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is a guy who's been here long enough that like and I hate saying it this way, but he should have a clue. You know what I mean? Like he should be a little bit more aware that, you're in Philadelphia and there's a level of expectation. And, when he has those little temper tantrums, it's like, dude, the optics are not good. Like so much in life is about, optics, right? It's about like perception. Like if you perceive someone a certain way or someone perceives you a certain way, sometimes there's nothing you can do, right? And so I think for Boehm, myself and other Phillies fans, we're frustrated with him because we know what he's capable of.
Right.
And so it's like, I understand like he's got stuff in his personal life going on. Like everything is not ideal for him. But at the same time, I just feel like it's like, Alec, it's okay to just say, like, remember when he said, I hate this place years ago, and then he admitted after the game, I shouldn't have said that. That was a bad job by me, but he turned it around. I feel like if Bohm was more open, like he was 3-4 years ago, when he's going through these periods of struggle, or like last night in the interview with McCarthy and Kruk, where it's like, he's being honest, like, dude, adding this guy changed like my entire like approach to baseball and hitting. Like, I feel like when athletes are more vulnerable, it's a lot easier for us to like gravitate toward them and root for them and cheer for them. And I feel like when Alec Bohm is just out there like slamming a helmet or throwing a bat or chucking his glove in the dugout, like that's not helping with the optics for the fans. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And it kind of him relaxing and being honest, I feel like that also takes the pressure off him, because when you get angry and you start throwing stuff like that, like kind of like how I said about the energy, like that completely throws everything off and you're so distracted. It's almost like you have no self-control over yourself. And then how are you going to play a good game when you're in your head like that?
Exactly. Text board is open at 609-403-0973. We're also streaming live on YouTube and X at 973 ESPN. Josh Hennig along with Hailey Laskowski hanging out with you in the 973 ESPN studios. How do you guys feel about, we'll call it the reemergence of Alec Bohm? Because he was an all-star a couple of years ago. It's not like he's been a complete failure, but I just look at it as it's amazing how you have two guys in Bohm and Stott who in many ways saved the game last night, and it wasn't all on them, obviously. Obviously Luzardo giving up that one home run. It's just kind of like an eye roll situation. And the Cardinals are a good team. They're fighting for a playoff spot as well. So I kind of just look at last night's game as, to me, it's such a positive, the way they found a way to win the game, that to me, now that you've won 7 straight, now you've compiled winning, what is it? I think it's like 8 of their last 11, or I gotta look up the exact number. But it's the idea that this team is finding a role. I think it's twofold. One, it's good for them that they're saying, hey, we know how to win again. Have a style of baseball we're winning with. But I think Hailey's also good for the fans, because there's a reason why you're wearing an Eagles jersey today, okay? There's a reason why when you go places, people say go Birds, not go Phils, okay? It's because if the Phillies don't keep up this level of success, you know what's going to happen in September? They're going to be forgotten about. They're going to be ignored. So I think that the players, I don't know if they fully understand this, but like, you want the fans to keep coming to the ballpark. You want those. They had 44,000 people. They had a full-blown sellout last night. So if you want people like Alex Berardis going to the game last night, you got to make sure that you keep winning, because if you don't, when September comes around, there's going to be a lot fewer people in that building.
Right. Like, just 100%. And like last year we were doing so well, and then we kind of just fell off at the end, and it was just really, really disappointing. And I don't want to see another year of that. So the fact that we are killing it in the moment, I do not want to see us go back downhill.
I think the other big takeaway from last night was, and for some people, this may seem like a small thing, but I liked the fact that the Phillies had to go to extra innings and get a win, because that series against the Blue Jays was such a slap in the face when they lost in extra innings. They lose when Chase Utley's in Hall of Fame night. Like, there's a point of view that's just like, come on, guys. Like, you have it handed right to you, And so I think that now this team, they are now 24-11 in one-run games. It's the best record in baseball. So they're showing you that when the game is tight, they will step up. And I think that's probably going to be the biggest positive. Now, will that help you beat the Brewers and the Dodgers and the Cubs in the postseason? Maybe, maybe not. But sometimes belief in yourself and your teammates is as important, Hailey, as anything else when it comes to sports. It's belief in knowing we can do this. My teammates can do this. So maybe with the Phillies, it might be just as simple as, having a little bit of self-confidence when you have to go against the best teams in baseball.
Exactly. You just have to have faith and believe in yourself, because if you don't, obviously you're automatically putting it out there for yourself to lose.
So I'm pulling it up right now. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7 straight, and then it's 9 of their last 11. Okay, so I was close. So it was 9 of their last 11 they won. So they're obviously on a run here that has a lot of people feeling a certain way. And that's why I said I think a lot of it comes down to themselves. It comes down to basically kind of finding their way. So we'll let the audience chime in as well throughout the show. 609-403-0973 is the text board. We're also streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. And we got Frank Closer, Phillies insider from 973 ESPN.com. He will join us coming up at 2 o'clock today. We still have our weekly football NFL segment with Andy McNamara coming up in about 10 minutes from now. And also the Ivy Rehab injury report at 1:25. We are here in the 97.3 ESPN studios. Josh Hennig along with Hailey Laskowski making her debut with me here on 97.3 ESPN. Let's hit on the Eagles for a minute because as I told Billy Schwein in the locker room about 15 minutes ago, winning or losing the preseason game is not of huge consequence tonight. The big consequence is what happened this week with the joint practices. And I think it's a big deal that the players came out and said, we got to be better. We have things we have to work on, because that kind of goes to show you that the Eagles players have self-awareness, or at least more self-awareness than the Phillies president of basketball operations, Dave Dombrowski, but I digress. You'll learn, Hailey, that I'm probably the greatest hater of Dave Dombrowski on planet Earth. I think the guy is a smug know-it-all living in his ivory tower, pious, and I can't stand. He's got this horrible, just egotistical energy I can't stand. But so for the Eagles, though, you saw this week, Saquon Barkley, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, they all told the media that they have a lot to work on. And in my mind, it goes back to the conversation that, I went and re-listened to so Jason Kelce was on Nick Foles' podcast. And I thought it was very insightful to hear a guy in Kelce who's been around practices, who has talked about what is going on with the team, on the field, behind the scenes. And I think that what's interesting is that people are kind of hyper-focused on like the quote-unquote results of like preseason and joint practices. But Kelce, he himself, who's been there in the building, he explained to Nick Foles that there's a lot of positives to be taken away from what he has seen so far. Here's what Kelce had to say.
I, too, have been wondering, how is he going to translate with this progression stuff, right? Because it's just not what he's done. You see it across the league, but I've been encouraged with what I've seen at camp. I really have. I think I don't know a lot about it, but you can see when a guy goes through his fake, starts on his read, recomposes himself, and hits the next one when it looks right timing-wise, right? And this is something I've learned watching this offense, that there's these guys in this progression is built in to the fake, where the quarterback's feet gets at the top of his drop, where he starts with one, and then it's a hitch to the second read. And all of that is orchestrated in a way that it makes sense with the footwork and the timing of the receivers downfield. And I think it's looked really good for the most part in what I've seen in practice, which has been really encouraging. I'm excited for Jalen.
And so I think that, for Kelce, he's not the only one. There's other people who've said it too. Brian Boldinger's been at Eagles camp. There's been tons of reporters who have been at camp. I talked with multiple people this week, from Adam Kaplan to Andy DeShecko and others. Zach Berman was on the show yesterday. He was great. Everyone's kind of described that like this is a work in progress, but everyone seems to be moving in the right direction. And I don't know about you, Hailey, but for me, I'm just encouraged to hear that, because the offense was so pathetic last year. Kevin Matullo was so bad last year that for me, it's like any positive with this offense, to me, at least they're moving the right direction. And you know what? I'm good with that on August 22nd.
Right. I'm just excited. I'm just really excited to see what the offense can do this year with having a new coach. We don't even really know what we're in for yet. I mean, these practices and the preseason games are one thing, but wait until we see how everybody really does work together when the games actually start.
And I think that's why I'm not going to get too high or too low about any of the reports coming out of camp or joint practices. I had Nick Ferguson, former NFL safety, on the other week, and he talked about how all these people who are criticizing Hurts for throwing interceptions in practice, that they're basically idiots, because you're supposed to throw interceptions in practice. And that's what a lot of former players say. Rich Gannon was on with Billy Schweim earlier here on 97.3 ESPN. Gannon's a former quarterback, and he even said, look, basically like almost like you should be throwing interceptions in practice. That's the time you do it. So I feel like for this offense, if all the signs are pointing in the right direction, to me, I feel a ton better about the offense. And, getting rid of A.J. Brown helps a lot too. I mean, anyone's watched the video of them talking, Jalen Hurts is unfazed. Like his face is just like, okay, cool. You came over to talk to me. I don't care. And at the end of the video, if you watch it, A.J. Brown walks away. He's looking back, and Jalen's just back to work. He is completely zoned in. AJ's like the ex who is so worried about if his ex still likes him. And Jalen has already moved on. Jalen's already moved on, engaged. He's focused on his new number one. He ain't focused on his ex. And I love it.
No, actually, that's a hilarious way to explain that. And I think we're going to have a better year with Jalen because he doesn't have AJ bothering him really, I guess, anymore. It was really disappointing to see how all of that played out. But I just think the stress of AJ was really affecting Jalen.
He's Hailey Laskowski. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. We'll check back on the text board a little bit later this hour. See Jeff from Ocean City and others at 609-403-0973. But coming up on the other side is our weekly football conversation with Amy McNamara from Millions.co and the Sick Podcast here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN.
The Birds are back. Catch Philadelphia Eagles preseason football as the Eagles get ready for the 2026 season. Heading to Foxborough to face the AFC champion Patriots. Tonight, pregame coverage starts at 6 with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 7.
He takes his drop. He's looking. He's grabbed. They're going to sack him and throw him down at the 23-yard line. Jalen Carter.
This is South Jersey's radio home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN.
Whether you are stocking up for a summer party, a day at the beach, or that golden hour dinner at your favorite BYOB restaurant, your one-stop shopping destination where I go for every occasion is Boulevard Super Liquors. At the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, they are minutes from Garden State Parkway, exit 25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors on your travels all around South Jersey. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, Boulevard Super Liquors also has the largest temperature-controlled wine room in New Jersey, offering you the best selection of wines for your next dinner date or social outing. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is my go-to. On Roosevelt Boulevard, at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, the best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Brand new Kias, $179 a month. $179 at RK. RK Kia of Vineland, New Jersey. Now through Monday, get new 26 Kia K4 LXS, just $179 a month. That's right, $179 for brand new Kia K4s. Even new Sportage LX, just $267 a month. $267 plus 0% financing, 0 for 72 months at RK Kia of Vineland. Save thousands with Labor Day pricing on the entire Kia lineup, even the all-new 2027 Telluride, plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned, and you get RK coverage, no charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. New Kia K4s, $179 a month. New Sportage, $267 a month. Hurry, now through Monday at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers, plus tax and tag. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Thinking about buying or selling your home? Make your next move with confidence. Dave Beach with Real Broker delivers local expertise, personalized service, and a commitment to helping you achieve your real estate goals. Whether you're interested in upgrading your current home, downsizing, or investing, Dave Beach with Real Broker will be with you every step of the way. Always available and always reliable. Your new home is not out of reach. Call Dave Beach at 609-685-4942 or online at soldbydavebeach.com.
You know what you can trust? The protection you get when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. You know what you can't trust? Everything else, apparently. Like when you saw that article that said that thing you eat every day is a superfood and great for your gut health. But then 30 seconds later, a different article warns you to avoid it and it's taking years off your life. Well, which is it? Kind of a big difference there. Anyway, bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive for reliable coverage in a reliably unreliable world. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Football is back, and no matter where game day takes you, Caesars Sportsbook keeps you in the action. Bet from the tailgate.
Can I get a hot dog?
Bet from your couch.
That's my lucky spot.
Bet from the stadium.
Let's go!
Plus, you can flex your parlay, so your bet stays alive even if a leg misses. Caesars is your anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Download the app today and start betting. Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back. I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. I just want to read this one text before we get to Andy McNamara on the stream. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube next, you'll be able to see Andy as always. But Jeff from Ocean City says, I respect Bone. I root for him. However, I'm ready to move on from him next year. Jeff goes on to say, also, welcome Hailey to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. So you already got people welcoming you to the show, Hailey.
Oh, well, thank you.
Let's get to some more football talk now. We talk with Andy McNamara every week throughout the football. You know it's football season when Andy McNamara is back with me here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, as always, streaming live on YouTube and X. And of course, I was just on with Andy last night on his Millions.co stream. So Andy, I appreciate you turning it around so quickly to join me.
Josh, always great to be on with you on Saturdays. Hailey, hello. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm ready to get into some real football, man. Let's go.
Let's go.
So I wanted to start with this because last night there was a lot of, shall we call it, consternation about these preseason games, right, Andy? And,
right.
I want to kind of emphasize again what you and I talked about last week, that you can't take too much from the preseason games. You can't be losing your mind about preseason games because that's what they are. They're opportunities for guys to learn and get better. So, what has been your takeaways from the NFL preseason so far?
Well, like you said, you can't take too much. I feel the negative is what you pay attention to more. So if a quarterback goes out, like we saw Drew Aller the other week, right? And, the other week, there were 3 touchdowns, 158 QB rating on last night, 11 for 2,310 yards. All right. So what does that mean? You should, against vanilla defenses on offense, be able to slice and dice and look good. If you look bad, if you're turning the ball over, if you're not clicking with your starters, that is a bigger concern. And one thing else we have to really keep in mind is most of these preseason games, guys, is the 2s, the 3s, the backups, guys who might not even be on a roster. There's very little chemistry overall. So to me, again, it's more the negative. Is a receiver dropping the ball? That doesn't matter if it's preseason or not. If he's dropping the ball, red flags. If he's making a spectacular catch, maybe. But it's more, I want to focus more on if there's negatives, that's what jumps out. Not, so-and-so put up 300-something yards. Oh, okay. Like we see that all the time. Brandon Whedon looked great in the preseason decades ago for the Browns. And he's in his first game in the NFL, he got caught under the American flag and stunk. So,
Brandon Whedon was also like 26, 28 years old when he made his NFL debut.
Quick side on Brandon Whedon. What a weird guy who was like very good, but not great at any sport. Because before football, he was like a minor league baseball pitcher, I think in like the Yankees system. Like he was like AAA, almost. And then he's like, now I'll play football. College football. Great college football career. Came up in the NFL, not so great. And then after that, guys, he became like a scratch golfer. Like he was like almost on the PGA. Like he's just an almost really good athlete.
I mean, that's certainly a better golfer than I am. I am nowhere near a scratch golfer. So I mean, maybe he should have done golf instead of baseball or football. Maybe that was really his calling.
Maybe. By the time he started that, he was like 38 years old. So I don't know what he's doing now. He's made his money. He's fine.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, to remind everybody, Andy McNamara is host of the Sick Podcast, which covers the Cleveland Browns and the AFC North. So Andy's had to suffer through a plethora of bad quarterbacks over the years during his tenure as a football fan.
Yeah.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Andy, let's get to the Browns quarterback situation. Give us the latest on what on God's green earth is going on in Cleveland.
So I've been getting tagged, and I love all the listeners, viewers, and all that. Andy, who do you think should be the starting quarterback for the Browns? It's got to be Shedeur, right? And I replied to somebody this morning on X at AndyMC81. I said, you know that. I know that. Browns fans know that. But Monday, Deshaun Watson is going to be named the starter. I guarantee it. Okay? Unless he gets hurt today, playing Shedeur Sanders is starting 1 o'clock kickoff against the Buffalo Bills. Shedeur's going to play the first half. It's against backups. They had the joint practice, and Deshaun played the third quarter, and Dylan Gabriel will play the fourth quarter. Unless Deshaun gets injured, he's going to be named the starter, likely Monday. And if not Monday, then Tuesday. But it's going to be Deshaun Watson. Everything's lining up that way. So, look, I get it. I don't want it to happen either, people, okay? Because the response, like I said, it's got to be Shedeur. How can you say Deshaun? Like, I don't want that to be the case. But that's how it is. My guys on the ground in Cleveland are telling me, Andy, you look at these little specifics in training camp, right? Who gets more reps with the ones? Now, they'll say Shedeur does get it relatively equal, but look when. Deshaun is there when everyone's in full pads. Shedeur gets reps with the ones when they're in shells, when they just have helmets, when they're in shorts. Big difference. And so Deshaun Watson is going to start the year, and I'm going down week 3, man. And I'll tell you, if they're 0-2, I'm going to be booing the you-know-what out of Deshaun Watson on the home opener with the Browns.
I mean, listen, and, Hailey, I'll let you know, we do got to do the crossover between just sports and the personal stuff at times. And Andy and I have both been very critical of Watson because at some point you got to judge someone's character. And Deshaun Watson, for all the disgusting stuff he has done off the field, it's like, and you keep giving this guy again and again chances. It just is like, who cares how much you're paying him? Just let him go. Let him leave. And I just got to giving you an idea. We're not afraid here to bring up the off the field stuff here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3.
Good to know. Good to know.
She's kind of looking at me, Andy, like, wait, where are they going with this?
Yeah. And I'm thinking, maybe I have some tea too.
Yeah. Well, you can, if you got it on Deshaun, I actually don't. I can't deal with more suspension talk for him, please. It's Hailey, what happens is Deshaun Watson inside the building. So he did all the potential allegations, paid off, I think it was like 25 women, which is
28. He paid off 28 women.
Oh my God.
So you'd have to, Hailey, doesn't it make sense? Okay, if you got one accuser, and people get accused wrongly all the time, but 28, you did something, right?
Yeah. There's just think about how many more there are. If 28 came forward, that's probably not even half.
Oh, that makes me extra sad, Hailey. Thank you.
I mean, I can't really do math. I don't really know, but that's just a guess.
There's gonna be some. And the word on Watson is now for all the, you take the personal stuff is what it is. Lots of bad dudes have played in the NFL over the years, right? But for Deshaun Watson over the last year when he did not play, apparently was a great mentor in the locker room, in the study room. Was doing all the work, and internally they said we want to reward him. And apparently he was doing his job. He wasn't pouting. He wasn't taking his money and going home. He was trying. So they're rewarding him in this last year, which does nothing for the Browns' future because he won't be here next year, and you still will have $89 million in dead salary cap money to pay off over the next 2 seasons. So Deshaun Watson's not going to be out of our lives for 2 more years, and he's not even going to be here. So to me, it's like, I know he's not the future. Put Shedeur Sanders in, who might be. And if he's not, fine. Then he'll be the backup, and I'll go draft somebody. I just don't. The bottom line is this: Browns always play at least 3 quarterbacks, either due to incompetence or injury. Shedeur Sanders is going to play, and he's probably going to play a lot. So we just have to be patient.
Which is ironic because it's the opposite of the Eagles. The Eagles usually have a quarterback, but then if he gets injured, then the backup gets traded, which, Eddie, I wanted to ask you about, one of the storylines for the Eagles right now is who's the backup quarterback? And I think it's an interesting question because, historically, the Eagles have found a backup quarterback and they trade him for draft picks, right? Well, right now, Tanner McKee is struggling to pick up this new offense. Andy Rifle, his nickname is the Red Rifle. That Red Rifle has lost some momentum on that fastball for the throwing there. So,
guns jammed up.
I feel like tonight's preseason game, it's not really going to be about necessarily wins and losses. We talked about it earlier here on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, it's about, will the real backup quarterback for the Eagles please stand up?
Yeah. And you mentioned it last week. I found it very interesting, Josh, with Tanner McKee. He's got a gunslinger arm, big arm. And in this new offense, this tweaked offense under Mannion, which is going more the Oklahoma style that Jalen Hurts was used to, kind of quick release, spread the ball around. That takes some adjusting. That's not heaving it downfield 40 yards. That's pinpoint accuracy. So what I would like to see today and over the last preseason game is Tanner McKee showing progress, right? That's all you want to see. Is he showing progress? If he looked this way one week, does he look better? If not, problem. If he does, okay. And that's another way to judge the preseason. I don't need big numbers. I just need to see, can he go through the offense? Andy Dalton can go through the offense. It's more, is physically he going to be able to hold up? I still feel you're a Super Bowl contender, you're Philadelphia. I think you keep the depth chart as is. You have Andy Dalton there, and if he can come in, I feel confident that he can at least game manage with all his experience, get you where you need to go. And then hopefully Tanner McKee skill-wise picks up this offense and you see improvement the rest of the way.
I think the story I find the most funny about this whole situation is how the story that came out recently that apparently Andy McNamara, Andy Dalton, going with Andy McNamara here on Hanging on 97.3 ESPN. Apparently I need to drink more coffee at this point. But so Andy Dalton actually almost became an Eagle a couple of years ago, but he wanted to stay in the South because his family's, his wife and their relatives live, near the Carolinas, and Andy himself is from Texas. So they literally chose to stay down in Carolina because for his family, but now all of a sudden he gets traded to the Eagles. So it's kind of like this weird irony that it's like, hey, the Eagles wanted you. Your wife didn't want to be here. Now you're here. It's kind of like a strange, as an Andy, yourself, Andy McNamara. What is your take?
We are a brotherhood. Yes. Yes, us Andys, we stick together. I do not have red hair though.
Thank God.
Thank goodness. Yeah. But hey, I think at this point, Andy Dalton, look, you're just kind of playing because you want to probably not be home and annoy your wife all the time. You still get a pretty sweet paycheck. You made your money, right? And you want to go to an opportunity and place where that is comfortable for you. I think it probably helps Andy Dalton with that. Okay, you're in Philly. All right, dude, you get to a Super Bowl, or at least go on a run and be a part of that in a big way, even if it's behind the scenes. So I would think if you're still a competitor, which I assume he would be, that's got to be pretty appealing. So, okay. Gets a little chillier up in Philly than down in Texas. All right. That's fine. You're going to be okay.
I mean, he did play in Cincinnati for all those years. So,
yeah.
I mean, he should be fine with the weather.
Not bad. AFC North for all those years, right? Like Andy Dalton's, he's a pro, right? He's kind of like a less gunslingery Joe Flacco at this point. You come in.
Much less gunslinger.
Much less but from the sense of the guy's seen it all. He's been through all situations. Do you want him playing 10 games for you? No. Can he give you a couple? Yeah. And he's going to be able to decipher and distribute the ball. And you're probably not going to hurt too much. And again, I'm much more interested. I think Andy Dalton will be fine however he looks. I'm more interested in Tanner McKee. This is a guy we've been talking about for a couple of years now. And if he doesn't look good and doesn't pick up that offense, that really, I would think hurts his any trade value if he's not putting out good tape.
Hailey, do you have a preference in the Eagles backup quarterback battle between Tanner McKee and Andy Dalton?
I don't know. I feel like, we already know that Tanner McKee has the potential, but he just needs to show it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, so you're not really picking one or the other. You're kind of keeping an open mind with it.
Yeah, because I just want whatever's best for the team.
What a team player. How jealous am I, by the way, Hailey? You Eagles fans, I'm just whoever the backup quarterback is fine. I need a quarterback. I got nothing. I got Deshaun Watson, who sucks. I got Shedeur Sanders, I don't know what's what, and I got a left-handed Hawaiian who's 5'9" as the third stringer. I got nothing. I'd love to have a backup quarterback. I'd love to have a stable quarterback and then worry about the backups. I'm telling you, fans of good teams, drink it in. I hope it doesn't swing back around. I love the Eagles. I hope it doesn't swing back around. It hurts.
Andy, that's why I'm surprised that the only backup quarterback Andrew Berry has ever traded for from the Eagles is Kenny Pickett. Like for those who remember, the GM of the Browns, Andrew Berry, used to work in the Eagles front office.
Yeah.
And his twin brother still works in the Eagles front office.
He got promoted, I think.
He did get promoted, because a bunch of guys have left for other jobs. Harry Roseman's just generating executives at this point. But it's like the only guy you trade for is Kenny Pickett. Like that was the only one you thought about going out and getting.
You traded Kenny Pickett in the same offseason to the Raiders for the same 5th round pick.
Yeah.
Bizarre roster management.
And by the way, to bring it full circle, it's like 36 degrees of Kevin Bacon here. Now Kenny Pickett is the backup quarterback in Carolina, and Carolina's backup quarterback is now your backup quarterback in Philadelphia. So it's like a strange, Rick and Morty, like universal, multiversal thing going on here.
Connection, man. It's I'm really interested overall for this Eagles team. And we're not going to know to the regular season, but if Hurts feels comfortable, which it sounds like he is, I think people are underestimating the Eagles. I really do. The Rams are getting all the love, right? And look, you got Myles Garrett. They're built to win now. I get it. And I certainly think they should be considered Super Bowl favorites, especially to get there for the NFC. But I think people are sleeping on the Eagles a little bit. Maybe they've been good for too long, kind of slide under the radar a bit. But if that offense can get cooking and Hurts is comfortable and stay healthy, I think you not only got that division, but you're going to get to the NFC Championship minimum.
Well, the other thing is that, when you look at the NFC East, Andy, like it's really only the Cowboys are the only other real threat in the division.
Washington's toast.
Washington, Laramie Tunsil getting injured. I mean, that just craters their potential. Although I feel bad for Jaden Daniels because he's a good quarterback, but I mean,
I like him
if your O-line can't block, you're done. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Giants, I like their additions. I like what they've done, but I have no idea what Jackson Dart is going to be. I mean, they had to sign semi-retired Najee Harris to come play running back because Tyrone Tracy can't block you, me, and Dupree.
Oh boy. Yeah. And we're looking fantasy football. People are panicking. I'm like, I don't think he's going to cut into, Scadabo's touches if he stays healthy. The guy's a madman, which is fun. But the X factor, of course, is John Harbaugh, who's in on a white horse. This just came to me, guys. I'm kind of getting a little bit of Mike Ditka Saints feel here. Oh, the coach makes all the changes. You bring in the coach, and he's really running the roster, and he's going to make all the difference. And we know what happened with Ditka and the Saints. Nothing. So I wonder. I think it's an exciting. Jackson Dart is exciting, but he's had concussions. Scadabo's exciting, bad injury. Malik Neighbors coming off a bad injury. There's a lot of pieces, and you had, I think, a good draft. It just depends. They're a real wild card. I think they're a couple years away from doing anything, but I'll be interested to see if they're at least a tough out for the Eagles and everybody else this year instead of the doormat they've been the last couple.
Now I gotta tell Hailey my take on the Giants. Okay, You and I talked about this before, Andy. So I'll let you weigh in after Hailey. So I have always said that I want the Giants to be competitive, so the rivalry has some value. I hate it when it's just one side beating down the other. I want the Giants to be at least interesting, so when the Eagles do beat them, it feels like a legitimate win. So how do you feel about that, Hailey?
Wait, repeat that question. Sorry.
So I want the Giants to be competitive. So when the Eagles beat them, it feels like it has more value. I don't like it when it's like one team is bad, the other team is good. Because then you're just like, it's like, big brother beating up little brother.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like with the Giants being so close, there's so much rivalry already. So
So you don't
Yeah.
care.
I mean, I
She
feel
doesn't
like
care as much as I do.
I feel
Let him
like the
suffer.
games are already like so intense. Like I feel like whenever I'm at an Eagles and Giants game, it's just like everyone is already like this is crazy. I was wearing like all my Eagles stuff one day, but the jacket that I brought with me to the game was a jean jacket, and everybody thought I was a Giants fan because of my jean jacket. And I was like, crap, people need to pay attention to my beanie and look at the shirt that I'm wearing because there is green underneath this jacket. And people were like shoving me, rolling their eyes at me. And I'm 4'11", I'm short. I was trying to watch the game. People are standing in front of me and they're looking at me, rolling their eyes. And then eventually somebody saw that I'm trying to watch the game and I'm an Eagles fan, and he moved out of the way for me. I was like, okay.
The hate is real.
So it is real.
The hate is real.
And especially experiencing that, I was just like, okay. Like, I don't know. I feel like it just really made me think differently about how Philly feels about the Giants.
Andy, I'll give you the last word on this.
You got to see it from the other side, right? Does that make you want to be nicer to Giants fans, or they deserve it?
I mean, the other teams are always going to suck anyway.
There you go. That's right.
At least they didn't think I was a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Well,
I would have been angry. I would have started fighting. Like, do not even joke like that.
Start throwing down. I think a lot of the time you see and I see your point, Josh, for sure. You want to be competitive. Quite often these rivalry games, there's still bad blood and they're still interesting. Being on the bad side of rivalries against the Bengals and the Steelers and the Ravens for many years, you kind of just feel like, oh, we're just gonna get beat up. And it is more fun when it's close. You're absolutely right. And if two teams the odd time are both competitive at the same time, it makes it epic. But I always think there'll be that sense of you know what, even if we're bad, if we win the one game, if you're the Giants, if we beat the Eagles, then that'll be okay. You have fans like that. Like if they win 2 games, if they're both against the Eagles, they're okay with having a bad season.
Hey man, I hear it, man. I don't know. I love football. You know that, Andy. That's why we have you on each and every week here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Andy MC81 on the X platform at Andy MC Sports on Instagram. And Andy, before we let you go, tell folks about millions.co.
Oh man. Yeah, that's where all my action is right now. Millions.co/Andy McNamara. Go there now. Do me a favor, click follow. I have all 32 NFL team fantasy football previews up. Each team about 1 to 2 minutes long each. Preview. You get your whole deal right there. Millions.co/Andy McNamara. Click follow. And I have every week. Joshua's on my debut episode of The Last Call with Andy McNamara. We have a drink at the end of each episode too. A lot of fun. That's going to be every Friday, 7 p.m. live on Millions. So follow there. Check it out. Going to be a great time as we get ready for NFL season.
Yeah, just remember Salento Organic Tequila. That's what you got to find.
Salento. I will have to see if it's in Canada. I hope so.
I'll talk to you later, my friend.
All right. Great meeting you, Hailey. See you, Josh.
Nice to meet you.
Josh Hennig hanging with Hailey Laskowski here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City, as we are streaming live on YouTube and X at 973 ESPN. And by the way, if you're going somewhere to watch the Eagles preseason game, which I'm about on the same time as the Phillies game tonight, you know where you should go. You should go check out my friends with 36 brand new 4K TVs. That's down in Stone Harbor, exit 10 off the Garden State Parkway. The best food and drink on 7 Mile Island is Stone Harbor Bar and Grill.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog, or the Mary Ann sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted best wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime rib nights Friday and Saturdays, rib nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
Football is back, and no matter where game day takes you, Caesars Sportsbook keeps you in the action. Bet from the tailgate.
Can I get a hot dog?
Bet from your couch.
That's my lucky spot.
Bet from the stadium.
Let's go!
Plus, you can flex your parlay, so your bet stays alive even if a leg misses. Caesars is your anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Download the app today and start betting. Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
School is back in session, and this is Car Buying 101 at Matt Blatt Kia. Which of the following is the best deal? Is it A, 26 K4 LXS, $129 per month, B, 26 Kia Sportage, $139 per month, or C, 26 Kia Telluride, $259 per month? The correct answer is all of the above. You always get the best deal at Matt Blatt Kia, plus up to $3,000 over KBB fair market value for any trade in any condition. Need some extra credit? Don't sweat it. If you bring home at least $450 per week, Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you approved today. Don't be tardy. Come see us today.
Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, at mattblattkia.com.
Need a new car and have no idea? It's got to be a Matt Blatt Kia.
24-month leases, $59.99 due at signing, 10,000 miles per year. Call 888-506-4132 for details. Subject to lender approval through KFA. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh, yeah. Used a trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is the time for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been proudly serving South Jersey for over 20 years. Owner Matt Calloway was born and raised in Cape May County and has over 25 years of experience in the heating and cooling industry, as well as fireplaces, plumbing, and bathroom renovations. You can always count on a licensed and insured local contractor like TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling to be there promptly and to fix your problem right the first time. If your home needs a little TLC, get TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. Online at tlcphc.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Brand new Kias, $179 a month. $179 at RK. RK Kia of Vineland, New Jersey. Now through Monday, get new 26 Kia K4 LXS, just $179 a month. That's right, $179 for brand new Kia K4s. Even new Sportage LX, just $267 a month. $267 plus 0% financing, 0 for 72 months. At RK Kia of Vineland, save thousands with Labor Day pricing on the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride, plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned, and you get RK coverage. No charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. New Kia K4s, $179 a month. New Sportage, $267 a month. Hurry, now through Monday at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers, plus tax and tag. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. And I'm excited to tell everybody that, we've been telling you that we will be back at Boulevard Super Liquors on Labor Day weekend. Myself and Mike Carlin, but I now can tell you a little more details about what we are giving away. And it's part of the reason why I am wearing my Boulevard Super Liquors pullover hoodie today, is because that day, Saturday, Labor Day weekend, will be Customer Appreciation Giveaway Day. So Boulevard Super Liquors would like to give back to everybody in the community. Everyone has come down to the shore this year, I should say. So that weekend, they will be giving away a bike, an electric scooter, cornhole boards, beach wagons, and more. So if you want to win some great swag for the football season, come on down. Boulevard Super Liquors. That's a Saturday, Labor Day weekend. Myself, Mike Carlin, will be hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. So come on out and benefit from the Customer Appreciation Giveaways. But as always, you must stop by in order to sign up to win the prize. This is not a virtual bidding contest. I was telling people that, Hailey, because, as you know, as someone who's worked promotional events, people will be like, well, how do I win something? And you're like, well, you got to come here. And they're like, I have to come there? Like, yes, you have to be present and accounted for.
Right. You have to be present when you win, or okay.
No, they have to come down and sign up.
Just sign up, and then they
Yes.
find out that they win later. Got it.
Yeah.
So all you gotta do is show up. You don't have to stay.
And listen, why wouldn't you want to go to the best liquor store in South Jersey to stock up for Labor Day
Right.
weekend? I mean, come on. It's the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits at the Jersey Shore. Just minutes off Garden State Parkway, exit 25 at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge. Boulevard Super Liquors will be there Labor Day weekend. And we thank Dave Sr. and Dave Jr. for being sponsors of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. All right, coming up on the break, but coming up on the other side, we'll get back to the Phillies and Eagles conversation. Hailey Laskowski, I'm Josh Hennig, Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget, I do want to remind everybody, so tonight on 97.3 ESPN, we are your home for Eagles football in South Jersey. We will have the Eagles game. Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling it all the action. Pre-game coverage at 6, kickoff at 7. But we will also have the Phillies game, Phillies versus Cardinals tonight on our sister station, Rock 104.1 and the Rock 104.1 mobile app. So if you want to listen to the Phillies game and the Eagles game, you can bounce back and forth on the radio dial. If you're traveling around this evening, listen to Eagles preseason action, listen to the Phillies hopefully win against the Cardinals again on two stations, 97.3 ESPN will have the Eagles, and Rock 104.1 FM will have the Phillies game. All right, coming up on the other side, we'll check back to the text board as well at 609-403-0973. Don't forget the Ivy Rehab injury report with Dr. Alan Stepney today. He'll join us coming up in about 30 minutes.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and Erin Ewing join me in the studio. Can the Phillies stay red hot? We'll go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green, brought to you by Blitz's Market of Ocean City. Hour 2, Mr. Negadelphia PJ Korda checks in, brought to you by the Vassar Pool Service. Mr. Negadelphia will opine on the Phillies sports scene. Plus, we'll recap the Birds in Foxborough. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports more than 3 million people are injured in car accidents every year in the United States, including over 275,000 in New Jersey alone. D'Amato Law Firm represents clients seriously injured in motor vehicle accidents throughout South Jersey. If you've been hurt in a car accident or injured on the job, the team at D'Amato Law Firm wants to hear your story and help you understand your legal options. Schedule your free consultation today at D'AmatoLaw.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Fantasy football season is here, and every league deserves a championship-worthy draft night. Book your fantasy football league draft at Chachi's 13th Floor, the official sports bar industry ace restaurant of 97.3 ESPN. For just $20 per person, your fantasy football league draft package includes great food and cold beer, making it easy to gather your league, make your picks, talk a little trash, and kick off the season in style. Located above Villa Raffici and Absecon, Chachi's 13th Floor is South Jersey's newest sports destination, featuring big screen TVs, an electric game day atmosphere, and authentic Italian favorites straight from Raffici's kitchen. Whether you're drafting your championship team or cheering on your favorite one, Chachi's 13th Floor is the place to catch every big game, every big play, and every unforgettable moment all season long. Book your fantasy football league draft today at Chachi's 13th Floor, above Villa Raffici and Absecon, proud partner of 97.3 ESPN and the official sports bar industry ace restaurant. Great food, great drinks, great games.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 2 of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Still here in the 97.3 studios. I have to say that because if anyone's ever listened to me over the years, they know that I do some crazy things. But no, it's a normal studio show today. And of course, it is the maiden voyage of Hailey Laskowski joining us here on 97.3 ESPN FM, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Still to come, we have the Ivy Rehab injury report with Dr. Alan Stepney. We'll get into some of the recovery from some of these injuries. And, you know, we're going to get back into football in just a minute, but I am still, and that's why I'm having Dr. Alan Stepney on, I am so blown away the recovery of these athletes. Like George Kittle literally just tore his Achilles like several months ago. It was January. And he might come back to start the season. Like, it's absolutely insane. So we got to get some more information about how on earth can a guy who tore his Achilles in January play an NFL game in September. It's mind-boggling to me. Also, the text board is open at 609-403-0973. But hey, let's get back to the Birds, okay? Because I think that, you know, there's a lot of talk this week about what is or the offense is or isn't going to be, right? And I wanted to start with this. You know, we haven't really gotten to this yet, but, you know, obviously everyone has a different take or a different perspective on the Eagles quarterback. So for you, Hailey, you know, talk about, you know, what is your position on Jalen Hurts, the Eagles quarterback? Are you like, because there's a lot of, he's a polarizing guy. He's a guy, there's a lot of ranging of opinions about him, positive, negatively, you know, especially if you go on the internet, you just get lost in a cesspool of like people arguing about stuff. So,
right.
You know, for you, what is your position on Jalen coming into this year?
I feel like this is going to be one of Jalen's best years, but he also is under a lot of pressure because he really has to do well.
So you feel like the pressure is more on him than maybe other people?
Yes.
So like you feel like, for example, like it's more on him than, let's say, like the new OC Sean Mannion. Why is that?
Well, it's definitely a lot of pressure on Sean Mannion too. I feel like it's pretty, I mean, they have to work together. They got to make sure they're on the same page and they got to communicate with everyone else. Because there's going to be a lot of new plays and new players, and everybody just has to be on the same page if we want to do well. And that way there's no drama again either.
So I had Sal Paolantonio on earlier this week. And the reason why I'm asking is what you said is what was interesting is because Sal Paolantonio thinks that the pressure should be more on Sirianni and Mannion because Hurts already has the resume. Hurts he's the only Eagles quarterback to go to 2 Super Bowls in the franchise's history. So, Sal Powell kind of took the position of it's on the coaches to put Hurts in a position to be successful. So, for you, is that fair? Is it fair to kind of spin it back to the coaching staff?
Well, after what we went through with the coaching last year, I think there's definitely a lot of pressure on them, especially with how crazy the fans went over Kevin Patullo. So
I'm assuming you were not one of the people who egged his house.
Oh, absolutely not. Don't worry. I would never do such a thing.
Here was Sal Paolantonio the other day, right here on 97.3 ESPN talking about it.
I don't think that Jalen Hurts is under any pressure. I think the pressure is all on A, the front office, and B, the coaching staff, to make sure that the Eagles have and Jalen Hurts has what it takes to get back to the Super Bowl. A.J. Brown, the decision was made to trade him. It was a smart decision for everybody, I believe. No question. But you got to replace him. He was 30% of your passing yards last year. And you watched them yesterday. Yes, Dontavian Wicks looks good. Yes, Darius Cooper looks good. We haven't seen anything from Mekhi Lemon, their first-round pick. Devontae Smith has been on and off the field. He's a true number 1 wide receiver when you look at all the numbers. But it's up to Sean Mannion and Nick Sirianni to put Jalen Hurts in a position where he can succeed.
And I think that's an interesting angle because we've heard so much conversation this offseason about Jalen this, Jalen that. Is Jalen an elite quarterback? Is he not an elite quarterback? Like all those conversations. But yet, Sal's covered the league for decades. Okay. I mean, the guys he probably has forgotten more football than some people know. Right. And it's like, he's saying, no. Some of this is on the other people.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting because, Sal, when he called in earlier this week, he basically surprised me. I didn't expect him to call in, but he called in anyway. And he was up there in Foxborough and he's kind of painting the picture, Hailey, that, hey, these other people got to give Jalen Hurts the tools to be successful. And I kind of like that because I kind of like the idea that we're framing it as it's not just one person who has to do everything, that other people have to do their jobs as well.
Yeah, I just feel like Jalen, obviously, he does have a very strong opinion about things. And I feel like with AJ Brown being gone and having a new coach and having new players he's going to be working with, I feel like it's really going to show, I'm trying to figure out how I'm trying to put this, how well he plays and how he responds to everything. It's really going to be the ultimate, okay, this is really how Jalen Hurts is going to be this year.
I think what you said about him having an opinion is important because, Jalen in the past has not been very vocal, right, about what is going on. He keeps saying, the standard is the standard. Everyone's got to do their job. He's kind of said all the coach speak. This is the first offseason I can remember where he has said, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this new offense. Sean Mannion and I are working great together. He made the comment last week where he said, everyone is 100% invested this year. We're all in lockstep. I don't remember him ever talking that much, publicly about stuff. So it almost kind of gives you an idea that, like you said, Hurts has his own opinions too. Maybe without AJ Brown, he feels more comfortable speaking up.
Right. Because you can always see it on his face. And like you said, he really doesn't say much. It's just one word, straight face. And all right, I'm out, mic drop. So the fact that he's already feeling more confident and speaking up more, hopefully that means he'll work really, really well with the team. And he really is working well with Sean Mannion.
That what you said reminds me of back in 2024 after the Steelers game when he went to the podium. The first thing, he didn't get a question. No one asked a question first. He just got to the podium and said, "Is that what you all wanted?" After the game. And it was just I like to see a little more out of, I know it's not his personality. I know it's not his default,
Yeah.
Right. But, so a couple months ago, I got to have a conversation with Cheyenne Knight, the LPGA golfer. She went to Alabama with Jalen, and they actually took a communications and media class together. And I asked her, I'm like, has he always been like this, like quiet? And she was like, oh no, he wasn't like this in college. So like that tells you like he does have a personality, you know what I mean?
And I feel like he does show it sometimes, but then when he realizes like eyes are on him and he realizes he's like showing emotion, he's like, okay, I need to shut this off.
And it's like maybe, and again, I don't know exactly, we're not in the locker room, but I can observe and see that it does feel like Jalen is maybe able to be himself a little more now that he doesn't have the cloud of AJ Brown hanging over him and the organization.
Right. Yeah, that whole AJ Brown thing, that's just so disappointing. Like, I really hated seeing that whole thing unfold. And then he was like, I don't want to be here. So if you don't want to be here, okay. Like, that was probably really, really holding us back.
You've used the word disappointing about AJ Brown multiple times. What was there something specifically about the AJ Brown situation or something about AJ himself? Like for you, what was like the apex of the disappointment for you?
Like, because he's like, it's just been so great having him and like Jalen and AJ like together the whole time. And then when everything started to really like hit the fan and watching all of that go down, and then it was just really affecting the way that they were both playing. And then AJ would cry online and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I feel bad because everybody would attack him. And I'm like, this is not okay. This is not good for the team. And then it was just really, really kept going downhill. And I had everybody who was not an Eagles fan always texting me, messaging me, sending me links, articles, like videos, like going off about AJ. And I'm like, I literally do not want to hear it anymore. Like, and then after he got traded, everyone's texting me that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like,
to use a
let it
relationship
go.
analogy, it's almost like when other people are way more invested in somebody else's relationship and you're just like, I don't really care as much as you do. That's what
Just
it
like
sounds like.
stop. It's like everybody just like wants to talk crap. And if we lose a game, those same exact people are like trying to rage bait me. I'm like, I am not in the mood.
I think the biggest thing, and not to get like too hyper serious about it, but what bothered me about the AJ Brown situation, and I'll use your word disappointment, what disappointed me the most, Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, Hailey Laskowski joining me here in the 97.3 ESPN studios. What disappointed me the most was how he kind of almost used like the mental health stuff as like a weapon. And it really made me uncomfortable that this is a guy who like made a big deal about reading inner excellence.
Right. And that's what worried me, the way that he would always talk about the mental health stuff. I'm like, can we please stop attacking him? Because if this is the stuff that he's talking about.
But see, what bothered me was it's also like, can he handle it better? You know what I mean? Like if anytime anyone has an issue, right? Okay, great. Step one, they say in AA is admitting you have a problem. Okay, great. You hit step one. But there's 12 other steps in AA, right? When you go, if you go see a therapist, they talk about in psychology about like it's almost like a circle of life when it comes to growth and evolution and development. So it's the idea that like, I read Inner Excellence. I had the author Jim Murphy on a couple of years ago. And like, there's so much more in that book that it felt like AJ didn't absorb it. And then he had that awkward interview with Colleen Wolfe from NFL Network, where he talked about, she asked him about the book and he's like, oh, I'm not reading that book anymore. I'm reading the Bible now. And then he started he quoted like some random Bible verse from like 1st, 2nd Timothy. I forget which one it was. And it was just like, he's like talking all this stuff. And it's like, you do a lot of this, a lot of talking. So where's the action? Where is I'm reading Inner Excellence or the Bible or whatever you want to read? Are you putting that into your life's work? Because then he goes on like the Twitch stream. He says all the weird stuff he says there. And then the media asked about it. I was like, oh no, you guys are reading too much into it. And it feels like there's so much about AJ that he took something that could have been viewed differently. And it's like, hey, I want the best for you, AJ. I want you to be good. But now you're taking something that is a serious issue and you're almost using it against other people. And that was really what disappointed me. That is like, I genuinely believe that like we've interviewed all kinds of players over the years. You know, Reed Blankenship was on here before he left the Eagles, and other guys. Everyone loved AJ. Everyone had positive things to say about him. Even Jalen went out of his way at one point to defend AJ Brown last year, you know? So it's not like AJ Brown was like a complete and utter like toxic cancer in the locker room, but it was like, okay, there's obviously something here. And instead of handling it like adults, it's like whenever you didn't get your way, you weaponized it against people. And that in and of itself was toxic.
Exactly. And like, it's just, that's why, like, kind of like how you said about how he was reading the Bible and he's not absorbing the book or the Bible. I feel like he just needs to like clear his mind more and actually really see who he is and what he's doing and how it's not only affecting him, but the team, the fans, everybody else around him, and just the way that everybody else is reacting to the way that he's reacting. And I did see him, I don't even remember when this was, but he did post something on Instagram about God. And I honestly love the post. I thought it was a great example, just explaining about God and everything like that from his perspective.
The post had a lot of good, positive energy and perspective.
But then there are people who were writing things in the comments, which probably he didn't like, and he deleted it. So
instead of turning off the comments.
Yeah, it was just like, I literally saw it like fresh. Like I opened up Instagram first thing. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And I like checked the comments and most people were like, oh, like love it. Awesome. But then there is a ton of people. Of course, there's always going to be haters, but it was just a ton of people that were saying things that I think were enough to bother him to make him take it down like very shortly after that. So then that was also probably getting in his head and making him kind of complain more.
But then again, it's partially his own fault because it's like, you know, we all make choices what we let into our minds and what we let into our sphere of influence, you know? And if you have the self-awareness to know that something might trigger you, right? You don't keep going to the thing that triggers you, right? If you know that if people comment on something that might bother you, turn off the comments. Make it so that people can't comment on it. There's so many people who are athletes or celebrities. You can't like their stuff. You can't comment their stuff. They just post what they want and they walk away, right? And I was watching an interview with Livy Dunn talking about this. And Livy talked about how the best thing she ever did was turning off comments on her stories. I think it was on her IG stories and stuff because of the fact that she said, now I can just post what I want and I don't have to worry about anybody saying anything. I can just go on my life, you know? And it's like, I think that's where the AJ stuff always perplexed me because it's like, hey, you're not 12. Like you're a grown man. Like if you know something's bothering you, just don't let it into your sphere.
Yeah, he's just absorbing all the wrong things. And then it just all progressed.
Yeah, all went downhill from there.
Right.
Johnny G chiming in on the text board at 609-403-0973. Johnny G says, hey, Josh, and welcome Hailey to 97.3 ESPN. I agree with Hailey. Jalen is a rock, but the current injuries on this team worry me more than anything has to do with Jalen. Not to mention, this is the 6th or 7th different offensive coordinator. I still think the Eagles have a shot at the Super Bowl. Go Birds, says Johnny G.
Go Birds.
And I think it's an interesting point. Maybe we've talked too much about Jalen. Maybe we haven't talked enough about Mekhi Lemon and his hamstring injuries.
Yeah.
Or Devontae Smith missing time with a hamstring injury. Or how about Lane coming back from an injury last year? You know, I remember the Hard Knocks episode where they focused on Lane in his rehab and he was trying to come back for a postseason run. And so like maybe Johnny G's right. Maybe, you know, for all this talk about Jalen, it really has less to do with Jalen than it does with the other guys around him.
Very, very true. And those injuries are important. And even Jalen gets hurt a lot. I mean, last year, not as much, but he's been through a lot too. So between him and all the other players, I feel like a lot of them need to be really careful and really look out for themselves because we do need them.
Well, you gotta be smart.
Exactly.
You can't be going out there and I don't mean smart in terms of, because I don't want to dwell on this too much, but I mean smart in terms of if the doctor tells you do this or do that, or don't do this or do that. You know what I mean?
Listen.
Don't turn it into I think part of it is why Jonathan Grenard got injured. We talked about this last week on the Ivy Rehab injury report, that Grenard hurt himself while weightlifting. Well, when you're already coming back from a shoulder injury, and then if you lift too much weight and you have a pectoral strain, that's on you. That's not a, things happen, things happen if you're running down the field and someone tackles you wrong. Right.
Right.
But Grenard, he probably was trying too hard to come back from his injury. Now he's got a pectoral strain. He might not be ready for the start of the season. So I think, to your point, the guys need to be smart too, and not so be
impatient.
Not just impatient, but shall I call it flippant about their recovery.
Yeah.
She's Hailey Laskowski. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. And we are streaming live on YouTube and X at 97.3 ESPN. The aforementioned Ivy Rehab injury report is coming up next. Dr. Alan Stepney, because we got to get some insight on how on earth are guys like George Kittle returning so quickly from an Achilles tear. He tore it. He didn't just have a calf strain. This guy is coming back from a major injury. So we got insight on that and more coming up next. Of course, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy Centers with over 18 locations around South Jersey, offering best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. And I can say that because they're my physical therapists. That's why I recommend them here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog, or the Mary Ann sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted best wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime rib nights Friday and Saturdays, rib nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
Brand new Kias, $179 a month. $179 at RK. RK Kia of Vineland, New Jersey. Now through Monday, get new 26 Kia K4 LXS, just $179 a month. That's right, $179 for brand new Kia K4s. Even new Sportage LX, just $267 a month. $267 plus 0% financing, 0 for 72 months. At RK Kia of Vineland, save thousands with Labor Day pricing on the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride, plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned, and you get RK coverage, no charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. New Kia K4s, $179 a month. New Sportage, $267 a month. Hurry, now through Monday at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers, plus tax and tag. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Fishing season's here. Get everything you need at the Bait and Tackle Shop at Utch's Marina in historic Cape May. Come to Utch's for a huge selection of spinning and conventional rods and combos for the boat or the surf, with top brands available like Penn, Tsunami, Ocean Max, Shimano, and more. Utch's Marina has all your fishing needs. Live bait, frozen bait, rods, reels, and lures too. Prepare for your next fishing experience. Come see us today at the Bait and Tackle Shop at Utch's Marina, located at the foot of the bridge in Cape May.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like head administrator for a state-of-the-art surgical center.
What can I do for you, Doc?
We need to talk about the lights.
Ah, the mood lighting, relaxing, right? Much better than those old hospital vibes.
A hospital's supposed to have hospital vibes.
You seem tense. Let's dim the lights a bit.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Hey guys, it's Mike Gill for Clark's Moving and Storage down in Rio Grande. Let me tell you, we did a huge move not too long ago, and honestly, Clark's did a fantastic job. I mean, really fantastic. They moved all my stuff from my Ventnor place on the shore out to the mainland in EHT. Clark's Moving and Storage, they took care of it all from start to finish. Trust their moving company with the finest in storage and moving services. They're one of the largest companies in the area, and you can trust them. Believe me, they got it all done, moved everything, not a scratch, not a dent, not anything. On time, professional. They really did it all. I felt very comfortable and very confident in their team at Clark's Moving and Storage every step of the way. So do what I did and use Clark's Moving for your big move. Call them today, 609-889-0780, or visit them at clarksmoving.net. Clark's Moving is an authorized agent for Wheaton Worldwide Moving, so they can move you across the country or even around the world.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I stood right there not too long ago, and I told the entire world, I said, call me what you want. Yeah.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
And there's nothing you can do about it, and that's not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Yeah.
Streaming live on YouTube and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Hailey just discovered some of my book collection here in the studio. So she's like, wait a minute, she found the Inner Excellence book in the Sal Palantonio How Football Made America book. So we'll get back to that because Hailey did say something in the last segment that I do want to circle back to about Jalen Hurts. That will be coming up in about 15 minutes from now. But right now it's time for the Ivy Rehab Injury Report with over 18 locations around South Jersey offering best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. And joining us to talk more about this week's set of injuries is Dr. Alan Stepney. He joins me right now here on 97.3 ESPN. Dr. Alan, welcome back. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. How you been, Josh? It's been a while.
I mean, like you, we're busy men. We got stuff going on, right?
This is true.
So I wanted to, this George Kittle situation absolutely fascinates me. So we got to get this off the top here. So for those who don't know the whole story, he is on track to return 8 months after a torn Achilles. He did it in the postseason game against the Eagles back in January. Well, he just saw his surgeon and said he makes such good progress that he can do intense rehabilitation. Part of his rehabilitation is hitting speed check marks while running monitored by GPS is what it is. So first of all, what would be the checkpoints for someone to hit returning from a torn Achilles for this to even be a consideration, Dr. Allen?
Yeah. So, well, the reason why George Kittle, first of all, is able to progress so well to this point in the rehab is because he suffered a high Achilles tendon tear, which is a tear closer to the soleus muscle, which is a little higher up, right below the calf or the gastroc muscle. So that area has better blood flow and better healing properties as opposed to a low tear, which would be closer to the heel bone. So that combined with George Kittle just being a freak athlete could be the reason why he's able to progress so well to this point. But checkpoints that you want to reach at this point in rehab would be to show fully restored tendon tensile strength and explosive calf power, which would be indicated by no swelling in the Achilles tendon area with full and pain-free dorsiflexion range of motion, which is the ability to pull your ankle up toward your head. Also need to have ability to have good single leg stability and balance. One of the key tests before you progress to advanced rehab phases would be the ability to perform single leg heel raise endurance test, which is 20 to 30 clean single leg heel raise reps, which is just the ability to raise your heels off the floor. And you kind of want to do that at 90% of what the left ankle is able to do with good control of movement. And then once you're able to reach those points, the next thing would be moving to a walking progression. Then you're going from walking to jogging to running with normal movement mechanics, with no signs of favoring the surgically repaired Achilles tendon. And then once you get to that point, which is where George Kittle probably is now, is all the return to play and sports specific movements, which would be sprinting, acceleration, so the ability to have explosive push-off movements on that right ankle from a stationary position, lateral shuffling, deceleration from high velocity movements, multi-directional cutting and pivoting, backpedaling, low-level jumping, progressing to explosive jumping, and then single leg jumping. And then once he's able to do all that, then you start to get into like the football drills, like non-contact football drills. I'm not a tight end or anything like that, but I would presume it would be like running routes, being able to get off the ball, get out of your breaks, and things like that. Non-contact, and then you progress to contact drills where you're like doing scrimmages and things like that. So based on what I've been hearing, it looks like he's doing well. And yeah, he's coming along well. So kudos to him and his rehab team for getting him to this point so far.
Now, I think the domino question from that is, are there any concerns about re-injury or like unintended consequences of other injuries for coming back so quickly? Because again, as you know, at Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, rehab is not just about the muscle that was injured. It's about other parts of the body as well.
Absolutely. So concerns for re-injury will be advancing to the next phase of rehab before the Achilles is able to withstand the stress and forces of what the next phase would be. For example, you're walking without crutches or a boot before you're cleared to by a surgeon or a physical therapist. So kind of just being a little impatient, thinking that the ankle or the Achilles is ready for something that it may not be ready for. You might think it's ready to do it, but the Achilles might not be. So that could be a concern for re-injury. Also, obviously, while you're doing the rehab, you want to make sure that you're still trying to work on upper body strength. You want to make sure that you're still working on strength of your uninjured leg. Sometimes we kind of favor our injured leg towards our uninjured leg, and that can cause some problems. But if you're also rehabbing and strengthening up those areas too, that can eliminate a lot of concerns for re-injury to other body parts. So it's just a full comprehensive rehab that you have to take on in order to not only get the Achilles to return back to 100%, but also prevent other injuries. So it's a full-time job, and you got to be committed. And you also have to mentally just be able to be patient and find a balance of wanting to return to play as early as possible, but also appreciate the healing process that your body has and not try to compare yourself to other people, because we all heal differently and we all have different mechanisms of injury and healing properties. So what's good for you may not be good for the next person. So just staying in your own lane, controlling what you can control, and not trying to go beyond what you're capable of is a good way to prevent re-injury or injuries to other areas while you're in rehab.
Yeah, and then the part about strengthening the other leg, my mind goes back to when Kevin Durant, when he had an Achilles tear, he talked about how he didn't spend enough time working on the other leg, and that delayed his return because he didn't realize how much the other leg was compensating for the leg that he injured. So that's an important part of it as well. Dr. Alan Stepney joining us for today's Ivy Rehab Injury Report with over 18 locations around South Jersey offering best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. Of course, I can say that because they're my physical therapist for my injury. That's why we have them here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Dr. Allen, the other injury I want to get to, another recovery situation, Micah Parsons. So he tore his ACL back in December, but he says that he is aiming for NFL Week 16. So that would mark 10 months from the original injury. So that would be out in the middle of October, basically, for his return. So a bit of a longer recovery for him and his ACL versus George Kittle and his Achilles. So talk about what are the checkpoints that an athlete like Parsons has to hit in the rehab process to be cleared after having a torn ACL.
Right. So I did a little research on Michael Parsons' injury. So not only did he suffer a left ACL tear, he also had some damage to the meniscus of the knee, which is basically like two injuries in one. So that has additional considerations for rehab and recovery than just a clean ACL tear. So that could be one of the reasons why his rehab is taking a little bit longer than George Kittle's. But getting back to the checkpoint, so you want to start off with, full pain-free range of motion of both extension, which is your ability to straighten the knee, and then flexion, which is your ability to bend the knee. You want to have no swelling, and you want to have good quadriceps activation, which is just the muscle in the front of the thigh right above the knee, and then normal walking gait. So once you're able to do that, then the next phase would be building the quadriceps and hamstring strength. And again, you want that strength to be 80 to 90% of the uninjured knee. And then you also want to have a good, stable, single leg control and balance. And then again, as I mentioned, for George Kittle, the next phase would be jogging to running to sprinting progression, agility drills, plyometric drills with normal movement mechanics during those drills. And then the final phase, again, would be the non-contact sport-specific drills, sled pushing, like rushing the passer type drills, I guess. But you want to be able to show that you have the ability to be explosive and accelerate off the ball. You want to be able to show that you can do multi-directional cutting, pivoting, again, deceleration movement. Then the final phase is like contact and padded drills with other players. So it's quite a process, but if you go phase by phase, step by step, you should be good to return within that window, which is typically a year. It's a 12-month rehab and recovery, but for some of these athletes, they're able to return a little sooner.
So if I get back up for a minute, so you mentioned about the fact that it was more than just a normal ACL tear, it was also the meniscus. So, I know that, for example, from my experience with my injuries, that when you have multiple areas that were injured, sometimes the one part recovers quicker than the other area. So can you talk to a little bit about, the management part as, a physical therapist, when you have a patient who has, hey, maybe the meniscus recovered quicker than the ACL, or maybe the ACL is more stable, but the meniscus is still not stable.
Mm-hmm. Well, what you would see is their ability to perform and reach those checkpoints that I mentioned. So if somebody's having difficulty with their range of motion, It could be a combination of the meniscus causing that, or the ACL, or both. And so you really don't know exactly which part is causing the deficit, but you just have to keep working on those exercises and working through that rehab, as well as doing everything you need to do out of rehab to make sure that those injuries are healing properly. So making sure you're eating right, making sure you're getting enough rest, staying off the knee as much as possible, so that when you do your rehab for, however long it is, a couple hours a day, that you want to make sure that the healing and the progression is going where it needs to be. And so when you do reach those checkpoints, then okay, so the meniscus is healing, and the ACL is healing, because if not, you wouldn't be able to do those things. So it's just a matter of how soon you can reach those checkpoints. And if you can't reach them, we know it's either the ACL or the meniscus, and you just have to keep working through it, unless there is a big issue where you're having a whole lot of pain, swelling, things are not progressing at all like they should be, as a big delay. Then that's when you would kind of go back and see the surgeon, maybe get another MRI, see if there's anything going on in there that's not typical of a normal recovery for an ACL and meniscus.
Again, he's Dr. Alan Stepney, IV Rehab Physical Therapy. There are 18 locations around South Jersey offering best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. They're my physical therapists, and that's why I recommend everybody here at Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Dr. Alan, glad to have you back on the show. Great stuff today. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Josh Hennig here in the 97.3 ESPN studios on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up on the other side, Hailey made a comment earlier about Jalen Hurts that I wanted to circle back to, because I think it's a very interesting point, because someone else said something similar about Jalen Hurts. So we're going to circle back to that coming up on the other side, plus your text board messages at 609-403-0973. We're also streaming live on YouTube and X at 973 ESPN. And don't forget, we have Frank Close for some Phillies conversation from 973 ESPN.com's own Frank Close, joining us at 2 o'clock right here on 973 ESPN.
The Birds are back. Catch Philadelphia Eagles preseason football as the Eagles get ready for the 2026 season, heading to Foxborough to face the AFC champion Patriots. Tonight, pregame coverage starts at 6 with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 7.
He takes his drop. He's looking. He's grabbed. They're going to sack him and throw him down at the 23-yard line. Jalen Carter.
This is South Jersey's radio home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN.
Whether you are stocking up for a summer party, a day at the beach, or that golden hour dinner at your favorite BYOB restaurant, your one-stop shopping destination, where I go for every occasion, is Boulevard Super Liquors. At the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, they are minutes from Garden State Parkway, exit 25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors on your travels all around South Jersey. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, Boulevard Super Liquors also has the largest temperature-controlled wine room in New Jersey, offering you the best selection of wines for your next dinner date or social outing. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is my go-to. On Roosevelt Boulevard, at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, the best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Brand new Kias, $179 a month. $179 at RK. RK Kia of Vineland, New Jersey. Now through Monday, get new 26 Kia K4 LXS, just $179 a month. That's right, $179 for brand new Kia K4s. Even new Sportage LX, just $267 a month. $267 plus 0% financing, 0 for 72 months. At RK Kia of Vineland, save thousands with Labor Day pricing on the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride, plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned, and you get RK coverage, no charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. New Kia K4s, $179 a month. New Sportage, $267 a month. Hurry, now through Monday at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers, plus tax and tag. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Hanging out at the Piccadilly. Nowhere tomorrow, everyone's happy. Beers keep coming, tails piled high with friends and family, spirits to the sky.
Hang on the Pick Patio for live music from local artists Full Step Back, Mike Beck, Steve D, an experiment duo. Planning a fantasy draft? Make all your picks at the Piccadilly Inn, home of world-famous wings and home-style favorites on Route 206 in Chemung, New Jersey since 1927. Find them on Facebook or piccadilly.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Football is back, and no matter where game day takes you, Caesars Sportsbook keeps you in the action. Bet from the tailgate.
Can I get a hot dog?
Bet from your couch.
That's my lucky spot.
Bet from the stadium.
Let's go!
Plus, you can flex your parlay, so your bet stays alive even if a leg misses. Caesars is your anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Download the app today and start betting.
Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM. Of course, we are streaming live on YouTube and X, along with Hailey Laskowski for her maiden voyage, joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. So, Hailey, you made a comment earlier. Johnny G followed up on about Jalen Hurts' demeanor, his, how stoic he is, or, Johnny G called it a rock. But, it reminded me of something that Jason Kelsey talked about on the Nick Foles podcast, because, Jason admitted on the podcast, he's an emotional guy. He's a passionate guy. And so he talked about, the difference for him playing with a guy like Jalen, who has a different type of presentation, we'll call it, outwardly than other people do. This is what Jason Kelsey said on the season podcast with Nick Foles.
I love his demeanor. I think it's a no-nonsense demeanor. It's very, like we talked about, me, Evan, I'm very emotional. This dude is boom, unstoppable. Right? Yes. Unstoppable. And listen, I'll admit at times when things aren't going well, you want that guy to then also be a different guy. Yeah. And all of a sudden be let's go, guys. You need that at times. But that's always when things aren't going well. When things are going well, his temperament to me is perfect because it doesn't ever get too high. There's never going to be a moment where he's like, I got this all figured out. We're good. We're coasting now. He is the same guy, so consistent. And I think that's what having a quarterback. I think it's one of the reasons he's really good in critical games and in critical moments. He doesn't allow that stuff to phase him.
So, that's a guy who played with Jalen. who is saying, look, this is a positive. It might not be me, but I understand it's a positive. And, you were talking about how it is a positive because who Jalen is. Like, you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to guess what he's going to do or say from week to week. And you got a guy who played with him saying, no, it's a good thing for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that coming from Jason Kelce too, because they are complete opposites. Like you said, Jason has more emotion, 100%, and he's way more talkative, outgoing, and then Jalen is just straight face, gets straight to the point if he even wants to say anything, and then just keeps it going.
And I think that, that's why I find it interesting that I feel like some people judge Jalen based on that. They judge him on his personality or lack thereof having an extroverted personality.
Right. It's just his face.
And it's people and that just is the world we live in, right? We live in a world where people will judge you for the most frivolous reasons. And it's no, it doesn't matter that he won a championship. It matters is I don't like how he talks, and it's I've always been I feel like half the people who don't like Jalen Hurts are people who like him for dislike him for dumb reasons like that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of I love Jalen, I hate Jalen, a lot of that going back and forth, I feel more in the last year. So, but I mean, I'm always going to have respect for him. Everything he's done for this team, we got to love Jalen. We got to respect him for that.
Now, there was something else that we talked about earlier. We had to get to the break. We talk about how, guys around him, being healthy. We talk about, Jalen can't get injured as well. And Kelce kind of let the cat out of the bag about, and he confirms here that this is not him reporting anything, but he says, there was an incident that happened with Jalen Hurts that has kind of led the Eagles to maybe be a little more careful with him and not play him in preseason games. And, it seems like every year, the final game of the year, nobody plays. Well, Jason Kelce says he thinks there is a reason for that.
I think that there's still, I don't know this. I want to be very candid. I haven't talked to Nick about this or anybody at the Eagles. Jalen Hurts took a shot on the sideline maybe in 2021 against the Jets in a preseason game. And I think that is kind of still in the back of the minds of everybody in that organization because it was a late out of bounds hit that could have gotten him done for a good portion of the season, if not all of it. And I think then and there, I bet that the team and everybody involved with it probably made the decision of we're going to be on the cautious side of what we do in these preseason games.
So he's referring to 2022, the Eagles versus the Jets when he got blasted going out of bounds. And I thought it was very fascinating because I remember that day very vividly. I remember going on the radio the next day, losing my mind because it's how does nobody how does that even happen? How does a guy think it's okay to blast a guy who's already out of bounds? And I remember that after that game, everyone was criticizing the Eagle players for starting a fight with the Jets. And I loved it. I was no. I want Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson and all these guys going after the other team. They'd be you don't touch my quarterback, right? But Kelce, he's not reporting anything. He said, but I think Jason Kelce's working theory is a lot more weight than maybe some random troll on social media. So Kelce's saying, look, part of the reason why you don't see Jalen in preseason games is because the Eagles don't want to repeat what happened 4 years ago.
Yeah, we don't want to risk any more injuries or issues. Just let him rest, let him kind of chill out, do his thing, and that way he's good to go. Because if, imagine if he gets hurt now, then that's the whole season.
Literally.
Yep, this is not the time for it. So we gotta.
I think we're okay if a Andy Dalton or Tanner McKee plays a game. You know what I mean? We saw a couple years ago, Kenny Pickett played a couple games.
Yeah.
But Jalen can't miss extended time, or we are DOA. I mean, it's just the way it is, and I think that's why. Back to the conversation we had earlier in the show here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig along with Hailey Laskowski in the 97.3 ESPN studios. I'm watching Tanner McKee and Andy Dalton tonight because I want to see, do one of these guys take a hold of the backup QB job? Because that still is an important job. But I also know that you're not going to save my season but you can maybe get you through a game or two if unfortunately something does happen to Jalen.
Right, exactly. And I mean, and it's kind of like when we won the Super Bowl years ago, like Nick Foles really, really stepped up. Like, we have to be able to trust whatever is going to happen if something were to happen. Like, we don't ever obviously want anybody to get hurt and have to worry about that, but it's life. Like, things do happen like that. So,
and that's why selfishly, I always prefer a veteran to be a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. People love what's his nickname? The Mormon Missile or whatever Tanner McKee's nickname is. Like, I get it. There's an infatuation with a 6'6" guy who can throw the ball 60 yards down the field. But to me, why did Nick Foles work? Because Nick Foles wasn't a rookie. Like, he was a veteran, experienced quarterback, and everybody trusted him because they knew he knew what he was doing. I like veterans as my backup. So I would prefer Andy Dalton be the backup because at least when push comes to shove, break glass in case of emergency, I know at least Andy Dalton is not going to lose me the game necessarily.
Okay. So you have a lot of faith in Andy.
Well, I have more faith.
More faith in Andy. Okay. Well,
I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest Andy Dalton fan,
right.
You know, I mean, the guy is getting up there in age. He is as young as he used to be. There's a reason why he's a backup in this league. But, you know, for me, I just look at it as anytime you could have a veteran, a guy with experience. I think that's why Kenny Pickett worked a couple of years ago, because Kenny was a guy who had started games in Pittsburgh, and he was a guy that was risk averse, like Jalen is. They don't like to take a lot of risk. I think that's a good thing. We'll get back to the Phillies conversation on the other side. Frank Close from 97.3 ESPN.com will join us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig, along with Hailey Laskowski, joining you. Hour 3 coming up. We'll continue the Eagles conversation, but Phillies talk coming up. The Phillies have now kept the winning streak going. So who are the Phillies as we proceed through the weekend against the Arizona Cardinals ahead of their road trip next week? We'll talk to Frank Close about it next here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City, streaming live on YouTube and X.
Your daily dose of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill just got bigger, better, and completely visual. Catch the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, streaming live daily on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Get the real-time takes, the best guest insiders, and join the conversation in the live chat. Don't miss a single show. Head over to YouTube right now, search 97.3 ESPN, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and watch the Sports Bash live.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Hop in a John Deere Gator XUV for a day's work. Let's see what's on the to-do list. There goes the tree. And the fence. Not a problem. Because you've got a cargo box filled with solutions. Up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you're ready to roll.
The power's out!
Here we go again. The Gator XUV. Built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like head administrator for a state-of-the-art surgical center.
What can I do for you, Doc?
We need to talk about the lights.
Ah, the mood lighting, relaxing, right? Much better than those old hospital vibes.
A hospital's supposed to have hospital vibes.
You seem tense. Let's dim the lights a bit.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now, save up to $1,400 on Tempur-Pedic Split King sleep systems. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Town Square Media has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible offers from some fantastic local businesses. Get this great deal right now. Get one $50 gift card for just $25 to the Island Grill in Ocean City. It's the area's go-to restaurant for fresh catch local seafood with a laid-back beach vibe. That's a $50 gift card for just $25. Get this great deal right now at seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right?
Yeah. Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 3 of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. We'll get back to the Eagles conversation a little bit later this hour at 609-403-0973. We want to get to the Phillies conversation because the Phillies just keep winning. And there's some interesting comments from Alec Boehm last night we want to get to with our own Frank Close. Of course, you get the Phillies mailbag each week on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on Tuesdays on 97.3 ESPN. And Frank joins us on a Saturday, so we appreciate him taking time out of his Saturday to hang out with Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Frank, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Josh?
We're doing good. And I wanted to get to you, before we get to any particulars, what has stood out to you the most during this run of winning? Because obviously, before the trade deadline, we had a lot of questions about this team. And I'm not going to say that it was all Luis Arias, but you do kind of feel like the team is functioning differently, Frank, now that he's here.
It really is. I mean, I guess the big story since Phillies started winning, I guess, is Alec Boehm and Bryson Stott. The daycare seems to have matured. They're making a lot of contact. And by the way, also they're playing their new positions very nicely. I think this is a nice development. I think when Luis Ariz came into town, putting 3 players out of position is no small task, right? And they did it all just like that at the snap of their fingers. Of course, Alec Boehm has played first base before. I think Alec Boehm playing there every day has better defense at first base. You've improved defense there. Third base, I think Bryson Stott improved the defense at third base by moving over to third base. And of course, Ariz is not going to be as good as Bryson Stott at second base, and Bryce Harper has a lot of reacclimating to do, if nothing else, his knees, because he's not used to moving that way. But I think the story has been those two. Besides changing positions, their bats have really, really picked it up. And I don't know if that's the Ariz effect here. I mean, Phillies are not hitting home runs like they had been hitting home runs, and almost consciously, I think they've taken a new approach, which I like, because they lived or died by the home run. I think they're stringing together some hits and making a lot of good contact, and they're winning games. And so I really would hope that they could keep this up.
Well, I'm glad you put it that way, because that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about. So in the post game crossover that Alec Boehm spoke to Tom McCarthy and John Kruk on the post game, Alec Boehm said that basically watching Luis Arias has almost like changed his like baseball life. That like watching him and learning from him has basically changed how he looks at baseball, basically. And I thought that was very eye-opening, that this is a guy, he's not a rookie, Frank. He's been at the big league level for a while. And it's like, no, one guy coming in has completely changed how Alec Boehm looks at hitting. Like, it kind of was a little bit of an eye-opening comment that maybe people didn't really like to absorb, but I absorbed, because I was like, wait a minute, Luis Arias is impacting Alec Boehm that way. Who else is he positively impacting on this team?
The Phillies went out and essentially got the best hitter that was available in the market, even though it seemed like it was very unconventional, right? How long have we spoken about, well, you need a right-hand bat, you need a power bat, you need to protect Bryce Harper with a righty. Bryce Harper said that for a long time, right? So he's kind of the unconventional choice to do this, but what you got was just a consummate hitting professional, just someone who all he does is hit. He knows how to hit. And I think when you add someone like that, whose approach is not look, Kyle Schwarber, his job, see ball, hit ball over the fence, right? I mean, that's what Kyle Schwarber is, right? So, I mean, Alec Boehm sees that. Bryce Harper is a little bit more well-rounded, but you've got something completely different here that he hasn't seen before. And so, one of the criticisms of the Phillies was that they were running it back, right? I named my podcast after that for the season, but
exactly.
But running it back, he doesn't get a real diversity of thought or a real diversity of approach. I think Luis Ariz coming in kind of gives you that. I mean, it's a new perspective, one that the team didn't really have when your lineup only added the likes of Adolis Garcia, and no real major shifting of the core lineup the last several years. So I think that, hey, it's true of any organization, right? You bring in someone who has a different perspective, makes your organization better. I think this is an example of that, and the fact that he's got the resume that he does, Ariz, multiple batting titles, and played for a few teams. I think he's to some success. I think that was perhaps that new perspective, that new outside voice that maybe helps somebody like Alec Boehm, who's really kind of, dare I say, grown up in the environment where not a lot has changed.
You mentioned Bryce Harper. I want to hit on him for a minute, because he's extended his 24 game on base streak last night with the walk. And what I find interesting, Frank, is if you trace back the beginning of that streak, it was in Miami after the game when he said we need more help. He got a lot of flack for that. And I think it's interesting that Harper turned it around, Frank, and said, hey, we need help, but now I'm going to get on base every day. So his streak dates back to that Miami series. So I feel like for as much criticism as Harper got, the flack he got for saying that out loud, even from his own manager, the reality is that Harper basically is going out and done his job at the plate.
Yeah, I think someone like Bryce Harper, he's taken on the role as the leader, on the field and off the field. And so I think he kind of gets that when you say something like that, you need to back it up yourself. You can't make a statement like that and then not also step it up your own self, right? Because what's the point of getting help if you're not doing your own job, right? So kind of putting himself out there, I think he kind of motivates himself that way. It kind of pressures him a little bit to perform. And I think what you've gotten out of Bryce Harper is really indicative of that. And the fact that the management did deliver and got, again, arguably the best available hitter on the market, it's time for him to step up too. And not to mention having Luis Ariz behind you makes you a lot better, right? Because, all the times that the opposing pitchers just thought, okay, well, I don't need to give Harper anything to hit because, behind that, who's really there? When all of a sudden the opposing pitchers saying to themselves, well, you know what? We can't let Harper off the hook because Ariz is going to come up and get a hit because that's what Ariz does. So they have to challenge Harper a little bit more, which means more balls in the zone. It just works out really, really well that he said that. He got what he wanted. And honestly, I think he was onto something because he needed somebody behind him to let him see more balls to hit.
Although it was funny last week when they walked Harper to get to Luis Arias, like that was hilarious because it's like, wait a minute, you walked arguably the best hitter in the Phillies lineup to go to the batting champion, like that. What a weird set of circumstances.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's a testament to the Phillies too, right? Because it's almost become the opposition pick your poison. I think they thought, okay, well, look, Harper might be the more long ball threat. Ariz is someone who maybe hits a single and it's not so bad, So I like that the Phillies have multiple poisons, and now it's basically a matter of pick your poison. Then, is there a poison at all?
Exactly. Frank Close joining us, of course. Check out all of his work, the Phillies mailbag, each week at 97.3ESPN.com. You hear him every Tuesday with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig along with Hailey Laskowski in the 97.3 ESPN studios. Speaking of the lineup, Frank, you mentioned about how Schwarber's kind of see-ball, hit ball, right? Well, he's been struggling a bit in recent weeks. It seems like the rest of the lineup is kind of finding their form, and you really thought that maybe that Field of Dreams game was going to kind of catapult him, and it really hasn't. It seems like the rest of the lineup has kind of found their way when it comes to their approach. Bohm's hitting better. Stott's been on fire for the last few weeks, but Schwarber seems to still be sputtering a little bit. What do you think that is of?
Yeah, I there were some whispers his back was a little bit sore. I don't know if that's the case. It certainly wasn't bad enough that they were going to take him out of the lineup. Wasn't bad enough that they would put him on the IL, but I can see it bothering him a little bit. If something like that, when your back isn't right, then you're not right. I mean, that's true of almost any Major League Baseball player. I mean, look, their top prospect has a back issue and really shut it down all year because you don't mess with that kind of stuff. So you know what? I can see this being a matter of when he's not feeling great, he's a little bit down. If he's feeling better, he's on fire. But yeah, I mean, you look at the last 7 games, an on-base percentage of 206 and a slugging percentage of 387. When you're talking a 593 OPS, I mean that's not that helpful. But the good news is, on a good team, when somebody is struggling, somebody else steps up. And, the Phillies have been able to ride this just fine. And thanks to Bohm, thanks to Stott, they've got other options. I mean, there was a lot of pressure on this lineup to just be all about Schwarber and Harper. Well, right now, that's not the case. Look at Brandon Marsh, who was an all-star the first half. I mean, he's kind of, I say regressing, but he's kind of going back to the norm, right? Talk about the numbers on the back of the baseball card. He's going to be what Brandon Marsh is, and his batting average against lefties wasn't what it was. So, what? When that happens, you need other guys to step up. Phillies have gotten that, and I think that's what really makes a complete team. Now, I like to see a little bit more consistency across the board from everybody. I mean, that's my biggest complaint with Alec Bohm over the years is he's got stretches where he looks good, although I think this might be his best stretch that I remember. But, when Alec Bohm was hot, he was hot. When he was not, he was not. So I think he still had some room to grow, which we're seeing him do now. But consistency. I mean, I think that's the thing. But again, it's a long season. You're gonna have some ups and downs with a lot of your players, even your star players, and it's really good that others are there to pick it up when you're struggling.
Speaking of consistency, there's an important player tonight, and that is Andrew Painter, because Painter is a guy that came in with a lot of hype, a lot of hope. People like Mike Gill were hyping him up like crazy. I was the negative Nancy of the group. I didn't fully see it. But you know what? I got to give the guy credit. He went down in the minor leagues, recalibrated, and came back up. And Frank, I feel like the next few weeks are so important for him, because if he can show a level of stability and reliability, I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again with you here. I think Painter could be for the Phillies this postseason what Sasaki was for the Dodgers last year, a guy that you're not asking him to go 5-6 innings. You're just asking him to come out of the bullpen for an inning or two, give me your best stuff, and get out of there.
Yeah, I think their expectations are relatively low still. I mean, he's still dealing with some command issues. He's working on his approach. Things that you thought would work, he's just coming up with a new plan now. So I think that's good. I think it was really, really good. A really good sign on Sunday, right? Gives up the grand slam, hits the next batter. When that's happening, you think, oh man, this is going to be a long day. It was almost like there's no way the Phillies are coming back from this one, right? And you know what? Real credit to him. He hangs in and gives them 5 innings. I mean, that's saying a lot, because those 5 runs over those 5 innings, it looked like it was going to be 7 runs in an inning and 2/3, at best, right? So there's a lot of promise there. I think right now you just need him to keep Phillies in games. You don't need him to pitch 7 innings and give up a run. We don't need a Chris Sanchez type performance. You just need him to hang around, get through 5, give you a chance to win. And you know what? Last time he did that. So now, great. Now, granted, I think he's got more talent, raw talent, than we've seen from him. I think that since his surgery, he's not really gotten the command that you expected. To me, the velocity's still there. There's still hope. But right now, it's just a matter of him learning how to pitch and not throw. I mean, think a guy like Painter, right? He blows through everybody in the minor leagues, right? In Class A, no one's even coming close to hitting him. So it's like, well, what's the point of that, right? Then he gets up to Double-A, and you're kind of feeling more of the same. That's why he was on the fast track before he had the injury, right? So, but the other half of that, I mean, he's got to learn to pitch like a major leaguer. He's kind of doing it on the fly. I think if you had your druthers, you'd have somebody else available, and he could take some more time with it. But at this point, he just needs to hang in there, keep them in games. 5 innings, that does what you need him to do. So I don't think that's a tall ask, but the encouraging thing is he's kind of working on his approach, making different pitches. Not leaning into the ones that he kind of expected a different result. It was almost like like I was just saying, you blow through Class A, no problem, right? Your one pitch works. Okay, well, why isn't that working now? I don't get it. I think he's making those big league type adjustments, making pitcher like adjustments, and we're going to see some more of that. So was I thrilled to see him promoted? No, not necessarily. Did I think he was ready to come back? No, not necessarily. But Phillies weren't able to work out a trade. I mean, just my gut feeling, the Casey Mize of the Tigers was traded at the last possible minute to the Padres. My gut tells me the Phillies were probably in on that deal to the last minute, and therefore they couldn't do anything else. Again, I have no inside information. I just feel like they were looking like that.
Frank, Dave Dombrowski said that they were in on almost every pitcher out there. He told the media that, and he said there were some teams that didn't like their prospects. So Dave kind of indirectly confirmed what you said, Frank, that he said we talked to 29 clubs all about their pitchers. Well, the Tigers were one of 29, so I think that indirectly confirms what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was a disappointment that he couldn't get anybody. But at the end of the day, and by the way, we'll see what Nestor Cortez has in the tank. I mean,
you went to where I was going to go, because I gotta ask you, because first of all, the fact that the Phillies didn't go into spring training with multiple arms to not force Painter to be the fifth starter, that was a failure in of itself, right?
I
But
agree.
also, what is it with this team that constantly goes to the Marshall's clearance rack when it comes to pitching every August? I mean, now it's Nestor Cortez. Last year was Walker Buehler. A couple of years ago is Michael Lorenzen, right? Like, what I remember, was it 2022? It was a Syndergaard from the Angels. Like, this team constantly says, who is like the guy who has the most potential in the discount rack that we can go grab?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I just think that Painter just needs to find his confidence, because once he gets that and he feels comfortable, good to go. But just whenever it doesn't go well, I feel like he gets in his head, and I feel like that can go for a lot of the players too. Like, I feel like Schwarber is in his head. He's probably, like, with this winning streak, he's probably feels like he's under a lot more pressure, and he's probably not performing up to his own standards, which is really disappointing him. So
Yeah, I think you had something, Haley, there, because again, in the minor leagues, in college or high school, he didn't really pitch in college, but Painter got everybody out, and it really does shock the system, I suppose, when you're so used to everything working and then it doesn't, So yeah, I think that's the case, and you know what, because Painter is in the situation he is. By the way, not even because of that. I mean, what if Zach Wheeler gets a blister on his finger? I mean, they're going to need somebody to come in and throw the ball. So yeah, the Phillies are sort of bargain basement shopping for depth. But look, all it cost them was money. So I think it makes sense to see whoever's out there, right? I mean, whether it was Cortez throwing for scouts or anybody else, you want to grab what you can. Now, I think there's going to be one more opportunity to add some players, probably in the next week or so,
right?
As you get ahead of the time where, which is the August 31st deadline, where a player has to be in your organization to be eligible for the postseason. You're going to see some teams that kind of fell out of contention put some players on waivers, just hoping somebody claims them. Hey, take the money off our hands and you can have them, like that kind of situation. Not a waiver trade, because they don't allow that anymore.
Right.
But I think the Phillies would indeed respond to some of those players on the waiver wire if there's a good opportunity. I mean, I'll give you one example. The Minnesota Twins, they decided to buy. They were kind of on the bubble. But if you look at them today, they're 4.5 games out of first place in the Central. There were 3 games under the 500 mark. By the end of August, they might say, you know what? I don't think that we've got a chance now. I think that's a realistic thing. So what they might do is, now one of the players that they picked up at the trade deadline was a reliever the Phillies were reportedly interested in, and that would be Jeff Hoffman, their former reliever. You know what?
Oh, no.
Well, look, I'm just telling you, like this is an example of somebody where a team like the Twins might say, you know what? We don't really need Jeff Hoffman the rest of the way. We're not in it. Let's put him on waivers, see if a team grabs him, right? And by the way, his last 7 games with the Twins, he's been doing pretty all right. So, maybe you say if you're the Phillies, all right, if he's there on the waiver wire, all we have to do is pay the rest of his contract. What the heck? Let's grab him. So I think you might see some opportunities like that. And I think Jeff Hoffman's an example of somebody who could be available in that kind of fashion, because the Twins are a team like that. If there's an expiring contract, free agent to be, save them some money. Hey, have at it, Phillies, or whoever else wants them.
I was kind of hoping you were going to say Brady Singer, because I know he's on a 1-year deal. He's going to be 30 years old soon. So I was kind of hoping that was the direction the Reds pitcher, but okay, Jeff Hoffman, sure, whatever.
Well, I mean, but I don't know. I Singer's probably a good example too, to be honest with you. But it depends on the contract. If they think there's an opportunity to save some money, I mean, Singer's making $12.75 million. That they might love to save a couple $1 million for a team to grab them. So we'll see. I mean, it depends on where the team is at in the standings. If they feel like that's it, the Reds certainly are a team that's been underperforming. They probably should have traded someone like Singer at the deadline, but they didn't. So yeah, that might be the type of player too.
That's what I'm hoping for, at least. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's at least what I feel like Brady Singer would be a great guy to just kind of bring in here and go 6-man rotation for the rest of the September. Give Wheeler and Sanchez a couple extra days off, and then just kind of get them recalibrated, because it's whether they want to admit it or not, Frank, Wheeler and Sanchez look a little tired. They look like the season is maybe wearing, or the dog days are wearing on them a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean they say, well, you get dead arms at some point if you're a major league starting pitcher, right? And yeah, this is the dog days of the summer. I definitely see it. I'm hoping that postseason like atmosphere, adrenaline kind of kicks in when you get into September and you kind of get out of it. But yeah, that would not be a terrible thing. So, I mean, just from where I stand, whatever talent you can add it. Find a way. And you know what? The one thing the Phillies have going for them is the financial ability to do a lot of this. So just spend, when it only costs you money, it doesn't hurt you in the long run. So I think that would be a good idea.
And it's also not our money, so that works out too.
Correct. Well, we pay the ticket prices, right? So in a way it is, but
hey, there were 44,000 plus in the building last night. Just kind of gives you an idea that the fans are still showing up night in and night out, Frank.
They are. They very much are. And by the way, I know some people said, oh, like the attendance, when you looked right after the All-Star break, when you got to the Yankee series, and then maybe there weren't as many Phillies fans in Baltimore, but
they were at the beach, Frank. Come on.
No, they spent all their baseball money on the All-Star break. That's what it was. So I think a few paychecks later, they've got the cash in their pockets again. But yeah, no, I did look around in the Yankee series. I'm like, man, I think they're all kind of tapped out after that All-Star week.
Frank Close, our Phillies insider, 97.3 ESPN.com. Catch the Phillies mailbag every Tuesday with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. Frank, I appreciate you breaking away on the weekend that could join us here on the show.
Happy to do it. Good to talk to you.
Josh Hennig along with Hailey Laskowski, hanging out with you here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea City. Great stuff from Frank there. We'll continue the Phillies conversation on the other side. 609-403-0973. That is the text board to join the conversation. As always, I see we are streaming live on YouTube and X. I see Angie from Tuckerton chiming in on the YouTube stream with that comment as well. Coming up on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN.
The Birds are back. Catch Philadelphia Eagles preseason football as the Eagles get ready for the 2026 season. Heading to Foxborough to face the AFC champion Patriots. Tonight, pregame coverage starts at 6 with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 7.
He takes his drop. He's looking. He's grabbed. They're going to sack him and throw him down at the 23-yard line. Jalen Carter.
This is South Jersey's radio home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN.
Whether you are stocking up for a summer party, a day at the beach, or that golden hour dinner at your favorite BYOB restaurant, your one-stop shopping destination, where I go for every occasion, is Boulevard Super Liquors. At the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, they are minutes from Garden State Parkway, exit 25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors on your travels all around South Jersey. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, Boulevard Super Liquors also has the largest temperature-controlled wine room in New Jersey, offering you the best selection of wines for your next dinner date or social outing. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is my go-to. On Roosevelt Boulevard, at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, the best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in
some Matt Blatt Nissan. Back to school and looking cool. Thanks to Matt Blatt Nissan and Matt Blatt Infinity. Are you in detention in your old car? Get up to $4,000 over Kelly Blue Book Fair trade value for any trade-in. Come see us today at Matt Blatt Nissan and Matt Blatt Infinity. On the Black Horse, Pike and Egg Harbor Township. It's time to drop in some Matt Blatt Nissan.
Max trade for the purchase of select models expires month end.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatics Sportsbook in the Gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatics Sportsbook in the Gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now, save up to $1,400 on Tempur-Pedic Split King sleep systems. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Brand new Kias, $179 a month. $179 at RK. RK Kia of Vineland, New Jersey. Now through Monday, get new 26 Kia K4 LXS, just $179 a month. That's right, $179 for brand new Kia K4s. Even new Sportage LX, just $267 a month. $267 plus 0% financing, 0 for 72 months. At RK Kia of Vineland, save thousands with Labor Day pricing on the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride, plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned, and you get RK coverage, no charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. New Kia K4s, $179 a month. New Sportage, $267 a month. Hurry, now through Monday at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers, plus tax and tag. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Before we get back to our Phillies conversation and your thoughts and comments at 609-403-0973 on the text board. Also, comments coming in on the YouTube stream. As I mentioned, I see Angie and Tucker Tiff from others chiming in. I do want to mention, don't forget, we will be back at Boulevard Super Liquors, myself and Mike Carlin. Saturday of Labor Day weekend is going to be a customer appreciation extravaganza. So come on down for your chance to win great prizes like cornhole boards, bicycles, and more. I mean, I can't believe Boulevard Super Liquors. They always find new and exciting things to give away. You know, last time we were there with Hollis Thomas of Bird Gang Spirits. You know, before that, we had all these giveaways from Holiday Coffee and Douglas Candies. But Boulevard Super Liquors, they're the best at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, exit 25 on the Garden State Parkway. We will be there, back there, again, the weekend of Labor Day weekend, myself and Mike Carlin for Hanging with Hennig, Customer Appreciation Day at Boulevard Super Liquors. So come out and join us that day. We're talking Eagles, talking Phillies, all that kind of stuff. But of course, Boulevard Super Liquors, the best selection of beer, wine, and spirit at the Jersey Shore. So you can come on down, stock up for the weekend, and sign up for your chance to win prizes. Boulevard Super Liquors, Labor Day weekend, Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, today I'm being joined by Hailey Laskowski on her maiden voyage with us here on 97.3 ESPN. Hailey, I want to circle back to the Phillies conversation because you brought up the confidence thing when it comes to Painter. And I think it's so true what you and him were talking about because, Painter is a young guy. This is his first year in Major League Baseball. And, a lot of times confidence is everything for an athlete. And I think that, it's a long season, and I said it before, I'll say it again. I think the best thing that happened to him was for him to go down the minor leagues to kind of recalibrate and reset, because there was so much asked of him early on, and he wasn't fully able to reach that level was being asked of him consistently enough that now maybe if he can find some consistency tonight along the next few weeks, he can be a serious contributor for the team in the postseason.
Right, because before he probably just wasn't ready. And now he knows what he's getting himself into, so he can hopefully mentally prepare himself for that and play a really good game tonight, because we would love another win. Got to keep this streak going.
Not to keep the streak going, but you just said another win because, again, it's his confidence. He goes out there and he's part of the win, right? It's the idea of, no matter what job you have, if you're working with a group of people, you want to feel like you're part of the group's achievement, the group's success. It could be a group project, it could be working on an event, it could be whatever. It's the idea that you don't want to be the person who feels like I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no one wants to be the guy or gal who feels like, hey, we achieved something, but I didn't do zilch to contribute to it.
Yeah, or feel like you didn't do a good job.
And someone else had to pick you up because you didn't do your job.
Yeah. So then you're kind of probably beating yourself up after that and then overthinking it. And then you really don't have the confidence after that. So you kind of just have to take the good plays, the good days, the good games that come and try to hold on to that. And if you make a mistake or don't play as well as you planned on and wanted to, just let it go the best you can, try to move on and be like, all right, I will pick back up. I will do better next time.
And, it's interesting, Frank brought up the whole issue with there's potentially an issue with Schwarber and his back.
Mm-hmm.
We know Schwarber had like a stomach bug a couple of weeks ago in Miami. Maybe just having a rough go at it, and listen, as someone who has dealt with back issues my entire life,
Same.
I am well aware how, one wrong turn or waking up, the wrong way, it ruins your day. It really,
and you're distracted by it.
And you start thinking about it more than anything else. And so now, obviously, Schwarber's got access to the best medicine money can buy. He probably got the best, chiropractors and machines, and he can go in one of those, those hyperbolic chambers and all that stuff. So, like, I'm sure he'll be fine. But it's like there still is an element of you got to work on it. You got to, and as Frank said, he doesn't want to come out of the lineup. Like, he doesn't want to be like, I can't contribute to my team, because like Harper is dealing with a knee issue. There is an element of you being in the lineup is a threat for the other team to worry about in and of itself.
Yeah. And like, he's like Schwarbaum's like, he's literally like one of the best players that we have. So I feel like every single thing that he's been through, he's probably like his body's been through a lot. So it's probably like really like weighing on him, and he just needs to get himself back. Like, you can't expect somebody to be perfect after an injury, a stomach bug. Like, that's a huge shock to your body. So to already have back pain and then the stomach bug on top of it, like, that probably really set him back, and it's probably just been really tough on him. But
I mean, frankly, for all I know, the back issue may have manifested because of the stomach bug and all the ramifications of that. If you're having a rough go at it, and maybe, your back gets involved, and so, I mean, who knows?
Throwing up, you can easily injure your back if you're throwing up like that.
I will say, I think that it's also a balancing act, though, because I don't want to ignore the reality that he's out there. So we do need him to produce. And you know how people are out there. The people will be like, I hurt my back and I went to work, or I had a stomach bug and I went to work,
Everybody's different.
Well,
and he has such a high demand job. Like, that's things that he has to do.
That's what I was getting at.
Completely different. Somebody going sitting in an office with back pain, yes, it is hard. Don't get me wrong. Like, but going out there and hitting home runs, or like, are you kidding me? Like,
hitting a baseball, I have always said, is the hardest thing to do in any sport. You can't name a single sport, activity, or function that is more difficult than hitting a fastball. Listen, there's a reason why I never got far playing baseball, because I wasn't a good hitter, and to me, I look at hitting a baseball as the hardest thing to do. There's a reason why Michael Jordan struggled to get out of AA minor leagues, and hit like 220 or whatever it was at the AA Birmingham Barons. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. He couldn't hit a baseball. There's a reason why if you hit 300, we put you in the Hall of Fame. It's because baseball is one of only 2 professions on planet Earth that you can be right 3 out of 10 times and still be great. You know the other one?
The sports?
So
you mean,
baseball is one of 2 professions.
Yeah.
This is, people listening know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
This is one of my shticks. There's 2 professions on planet Earth that if you're right 30% of the time, we consider you successful.
I'm not sure. I have a couple ideas, but 30% of the time, I feel like that's what's throwing me off.
I mean, it's maybe not a literal 30%, but it's kind of more like it's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing. I'm saying I'm not, kind of
a hint.
It's not sports related.
Okay. Well, okay. So the one thing I was thinking of was not sports related, but I feel like it's not right, because if it's only 30%, then I mean, maybe. I don't know. You tell me.
I see the wheels turning in your head.
Like, yeah, you tell me. You just
Weatherman.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I could do that. I'm like, I can feel my joints hurt and it's going to rain tomorrow. Like,
but how many times do you watch whatever weather platform or whatever weather app and it says one thing's going to happen, it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Or, my favorite is when they say, chance of scattered thunderstorms. And it's like it'll be raining one place, but not another place. And like, I remember was it last week or the weekend before, I'm at the beach and I get a text being like, is it raining where you are? I'm like, no, it's sunny and clear. They're like, well, it's downpouring here, and I'm like, not here, and it's like maybe like 20 miles away. And it's like, and I get like, you can't always predict every weather pattern. So the weatherman tries to like cover all their bases. But as you said, like some of these guys are just so inaccurate when it's like, I'm with you. Like I think it was Thursday. And, I felt like my entire body hurt and then it started raining.
Right.
And it's like, does the weatherman have no physical pain? Like, is that like, are all the weather people like perfectly physically conditioned individuals? And like, I just don't know.
I guess they're just going off the technology and that's how they're getting their answers and going with it.
By the way, multiple people have texted in weather person.
Weather people.
From the 97.3 ESPN listeners, they're familiar with my
your jokes,
my complaining or jokes, well, they're bad jokes, well, I always say that, I'm not funny. I'm just random, so it's like, for me, if you're laughing at me, it's because it naturally occurred, not because I had to think about it. I'm not like a comedian, I'm not like, Taylor Tomlinson over here or like Dave Chappelle, it's like, I'm here for the sports. I'm not here for
the weather talk.
And weather talk. Weather talk is always important.
So you tell me right now, is it raining?
I mean, my knee isn't bothering me right now, so I don't think it's raining right now, but also the window behind me is completely shuttered and shut and I can't open it or like it'll be like a glare on the camera screen for YouTube. So we can't have that.
Nope, not at all. Too much sun.
Speaking of too much sun. Speaking of although like I said, it was raining when I left my house this morning. So there is that. We do have Angie who chimed in on the YouTube stream. Speaking of that, talking about the Eagles a little bit earlier. She chimes in on YouTube at Josh Hennig, says if Jalen doesn't execute, everyone's going to blame him. They're going to blame the OC. People will say that he couldn't get it done without AJ. I totally believe in our quarterback, though, says Angie and Tuckerton. And that's so true. The moment Jalen has a game where, I'm just talking about random numbers, he goes 10 for 18, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and they win it, 14-10, everyone's going to be like, see, he can't do it without AJ. She's right. That game is coming because we already know that this team is still going to run the ball. They're not going to not run the ball when you have Saquon Barkley. So she's right. Jalen is going to get blamed because he's going to have a game that's not aesthetically pleasing and they'll still win.
And that's why I think there's so much pressure on him to make people not say that kind of stuff. And then when it happens, like, that just can't get in his head, of course, like it would for AJ, kind of thing.
I mean, he's probably better at handling it than other people are.
For sure.
See, my curiosity is, now Jalen doesn't fit in this category because his relationship is private. But like, I don't know if you know the whole story. So for those who don't know, let's hit on this really quick because I would love to get a woman's perspective on this. So,
oh boy.
Justin Herbert is in a very like public relationship right now. Do you know who Madison Beers is?
Yes.
Him and Madison Beers have been together for a while. And she's now like every practice, like they're walking around holding hands. There's the infamous video of her stroking his hair after a practice. And like, you have a guy who's a very quarterback, the biggest, most famous position in sports, right? And he's got this very public relationship. So now, if he goes out and has a bad game, you think the criticism of Hurts is going to be there? It's going to be triple for Justin Herbert because he has this relationship that might be quote unquote distracting him. And it's like, I'm a little worried about the guy. You know, it's like, this is like, he seems a little bit too infatuated with his girlfriend bringing her to practice all the time.
Well, do you feel that way about Taylor Swift?
No, because I've never seen Taylor Swift at the Chiefs practice. Have you?
No.
Okay.
You have a point there.
Josh Allen. Do you know who his wife is? Haley Steinfeld. Never seen Haley at a practice. Never seen her at training camp. Does she go to games? All the time. Yep. She's decked out in her Josh Allen shirt. She's screaming from the stands for her man. I love it. Taylor, the same thing. I see her screaming. Madison, though, she's at practice. She's on the training camp field. It's kind of like, it's a little cringe.
Yeah, I can get that. Eyes are on her.
So now it's like, if he has a bad game, it's going to turn into, is he distracted? Is he thinking too much about her, not enough about his job?
Oof. And then that can be a problem between them. That maybe she needs to stay away from that.
And the thing is, I don't know if she's a real football fan, so I don't think she's aware. Like, I think
what she's doing.
Right. Like Taylor's more famous than Travis is.
Right.
Okay. Haley is as famous as Josh Allen is.
Correct.
Okay. So it's like they have a level of like notoriety. I think they have an awareness that it's like how their relationships impact each other. So like I think Travis, like he was very reluctant to go on the stage for that one time with her on tour. And he talked about on the podcast, he was like, I don't want anything to be on the stage, but she forced me to go on the stage, or like, Josh insisted that Haley go with him to the NFL honors because she didn't want to take away from his spotlight winning MVP. And they're like, those are women who like their relationship with their man, they're very aware of each other. They're very aware of like how like they impact each other. Like you don't see Josh Allen showing up on set when Haley is shooting a movie or a TV show, right?
Yeah, they can establish that balance.
And I wonder, like, does Madison, like, because her fame and notoriety is not the traditional way. So like, does she maybe not have that awareness?
Maybe, I don't want to say this,
just say it.
But like, because I obviously don't know, and I don't want to say something if it's
just say
like disrespectful. Like, I don't want her to be making it about her kind of thing, because you never know. Like, kind of like how you said, everyone else is equally or more famous than another. But is this for her or for him?
Like, right. Is this for her to get more social media clout? Right?
Yeah, which is wrong. Unless she's just trying to cheer on her man, then good for you, girl. I get it. But if
Yeah, but she doesn't
it's
need to be at
not,
practice.
yeah, if it's not like right, because
That's where it's weird.
yeah,
That's where it's like, do you really need to be there? Or are you there so you can be seen?
every practice.
Not every practice, but it's been enough that it's like these cringeworthy moments where, like, you know, they're walking off the field together, swinging hands, you know, and she's wearing like a cute dress, or like the one practice where after the practice, she's like stroking his hair after practice while they're talking on the sidelines. Like, you know, moments like that. It's like, yeah, you don't need to be like so visible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's to distract the fans, not even about distracting him. Maybe it's their little coupley things that.
That's what I'm saying, though. If he has
Just-
a bad game,
Yeah.
you know, they brought in a new offensive coordinator this year to the Chargers, right? So it's like now, if he has a bad game, people are going to criticize him. And now he's going to bring that negativity with him back home, right?
Onto her.
You know, and now it's like, does that impact their relationship where now they start having an argument? Like, you ever see Abbott Elementary?
Oh my gosh, I literally need to watch that more. I've seen a couple episodes and I keep
Okay.
telling myself I'm gonna like fully watch it, and
Well, so
I don't know
there-
why I never do.
There's this one episode where the one famous couple in the show, they have an argument and they quote unquote break up for a couple days. But it was like the first argument they ever had. So like they didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, but on the show, it's kind of more like a comedic point of reference, right?
Mhm.
This is real life. And these are people who, you know, maybe they've never been in this situation before. And if they had their first fight, how is that going to impact things? And like, and then if they break up, does he have another bad game because he's thinking about the breakup? And like, does it become a whole spiraling? You see what I'm saying here?
Yeah, are people gonna be blaming her? The teammates gonna be blaming her?
Right?
Oh gosh. That's not good.
Yeah. Watch, keep an eye on the Chargers this year.
I'm gonna now that we're talking about it, my phone is totally gonna hear me, and the algorithm is just gonna be giving me all of this. So I'm gonna be like,
Chargers, Madison
oh
Beers."
yeah. Them skipping, holding hands, like
I'm telling you, you got to at least watch the video of her and him sitting down together after practice. The way she's like touching his hair is like, listen, I'm not anti-PDA. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, if two people love each other, like, I'm like, more power to you. Like, I want to see good people happy. But like, this is like beyond normal PDA. Like, this is like, it's almost like performative.
right. That's what I'm saying. It kind of seems like it's because if there's other wives and girlfriends there and they're not acting like that.
Right. They're not, the others aren't acting like that. Just her.
Yeah.
See what I'm, now you're picking up what I'm putting down, aren't you?
Yeah. Are they always like that though, or just a practice?
I mean, every time I've seen them
every time
together,
in public.
every time I've seen them in public, it's like over the top. It's almost like, it's almost like more infatuation than it is like actual like love and affection.
Yeah, they're just doing it for the media.
Yeah, and that's what makes me cringe because now it could impact his job, and I just don't want to see the guy's career spiral because, you know,
because of a girl.
Yeah, and then maybe her life spiral. You know, maybe she turns into Britney Spears or something.
Oh my
because of
gosh.
it.
Okay, she can go on Britney.
She's Hailey Laskowski. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig, ruining people's lives here on Nice 73 ESPN. I kid, obviously. But if you want to watch all the Eagles Phillies games, or you want to check in on the Chargers during the season, you could do it down at Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street with their 36 brand new 4K TVs. I mean, they remodeled the entire place this year. Brett and his team do an amazing job down there. The best food and drink on 7 Mile Island off of exit 10 on the Garden State Parkway. My friends and sponsors of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, the Stone Harbor Bar and Grill.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog or the Mary Ann sandwich. sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted best wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime rib nights Friday and Saturdays, rib nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
Personal injury attorneys are more than just lawyers. They are your personal advocates and your best chance at justice. Paul D'Amato of D'Amato Law Firm in Egg Harbor Township has devoted his entire career to fighting insurance companies that do not try to work out a fair settlement. Insurance companies aim to wear down accident victims and wear down their lawyers, but Paul has never let that happen and never will. If you're in a situation where you've been hurt in an accident or at work, go to D'AmatoLawFirm.com to schedule a consultation. That's D'AmatoLawFirm.com.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry nonstop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable Beads to your wash for 24-hour nonstop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
Brand new Kias, $179 a month. $179 at RK. RK Kia of Vineland, New Jersey. Now through Monday, get new 26 Kia K4 LXS, just $179 a month. That's right, $179 for brand new Kia K4s. Even new Sportage LX, just $267 a month. $267 plus 0% financing, 0 for 72 months at RK Kia of Vineland. Save thousands with Labor Day pricing on the entire Kia lineup, even the all-new 2027 Telluride, plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned, and you get RK coverage, no charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. New Kia K4s, $179 a month. New Sportage, $267 a month. Hurry, now through Monday at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers, plus tax and tag. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Hear that? That's Alka-Seltzer, the sound of fast heartburn relief. Because when heartburn hits, you want something that works fast. Quick! Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer effervescent tablets start neutralizing stomach acid in seconds. So nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Next time, when that burning feeling comes on strong, don't wait. Quick! Alka-Seltzer. Try Alka-Seltzer. Use as directed.
Hey guys, it's Mike Gill for Clark's Moving and Storage down in Rio Grande. Let me tell you, we did a huge move not too long ago, and honestly, Clark's did a fantastic job. I mean, really fantastic. They moved all my stuff from my Ventnor place on the shore out to the mainland in EHT. Clark's Moving and Storage, they took care of it all from start to finish. Trust their moving company with the finest in storage and moving services. They're one of the largest companies in the area, and you can trust them. Believe me, they got it all done, moved everything, not a scratch, not a dent, not anything. On time, professional. They really did it all. I felt very comfortable and very confident in their team at Clark's Moving and Storage every step of the way. So do what I did and use Clark's Moving for your big move. Call them today, 609-889-0780, or visit them at clarksmoving.net. Clark's Moving is an authorized agent for Wheaton Worldwide Moving, so they can move you across the country or even around the world.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Well, we spent too much time talking about Justin Herbert, so now we got to wrap up hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Hailey Laskowski, her maiden voyage. All right, so how was it? On a scale of 1 to 5, how was your first day?
6.
A 6. Is that because of me or because of you?
Both.
Okay. So I got to do better and you got to do better. Is that what you're saying?
No, you said scale from 1 to 5. Was 5 like good or
oh,
was
you
1
meant,
good?
I'm sorry. I thought you were doing 1 to 10. But
1 to 10?
I said 1 to 5.
5.
But
Yeah.
you said 6. Oh, see.
Yeah, see?
Apparently I need more caffeine then, obviously. That's a me issue. Hailey, great stuff today. Appreciate you joining us. She'll be joining us throughout the football season here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Really quick, plug your social.
My Instagram is at Hailyeah, HAILYEEAHHH.
There it is. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and Aaron Ewing join me in the studio. Can the Phillies stay red hot? We'll go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green, brought to you by Blitz's Market of Ocean City. Hour 2, Mr. Negadelphia PJ Corda checks in, brought to you by the Vassar Pool Service. Mr. Negadelphia will opine on the Phillies sports scene. Plus, we'll recap the Birds in Foxborough. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.